Hello and welcome, friends, to another episode of Black Metal and Brews. Today's episode, we're going to have one of the two represented pretty well with the Brews portion. But today's musical artist is decidedly a little more of the hardcore persuasion. But that is, to me, not a bad thing in the slightest. The intersection of metal and hardcore has been a place where many of us have either found both genres or have crossed from one to the other in broadening our palettes. So I will be joined today by members of UK-based metalcore band Ithaca, who are I was running a minute or so late in getting this ready, so it's on me that they are not yet with me because I just sent them the link at 4 o'clock, 9 p.m. their time on the dot. So my fault there. Uh, we are going to. I realize that I'm probably talking to nobody anyway for the moment, as it is early. But I've got myself a beer and a beer koozie. Look at that. You may remember I did my hot sauce episode about a week and a half ago. So got the hot sauce koozie for this Dogfish Head Sea Quench Ale. You're it tells me nobody's watching, so even though I'm getting comments, I'm not convinced there's actually anybody watching me. So it's got lime juice, lime peel, black limes, and sea salt. I think that's a lot of lime things, but yeah, it's just kind of like a slightly sweet, slightly salty because it's a Goza beer. And I thought for the occasion today, since I'm interviewing a metalcore band, I almost grabbed my 15-year-old shirt from the band The Bled, but I opted for something that was a little less unflattering because that one fits me too tight, as was the fashion in my day. So we're gonna open this beer, and I realized too that our guests, when I last checked, were on the way home from work. So I'm gonna just look at my phone real quickly because I realize that may also be a factor at play here. In which case, I'll do my best to keep things fun. Not that I'm fun on a good day, but I think that there's something about my dryness that we can all appreciate anyway. At least I can. I have to. I'm stuck with it. But yeah, it has been a hell of a week for music. What with well justified overdue callouts for many artists. Yeah, I know it's Rogelio watching me here. It's like this week we had the the entire Burger Records roster pretty much outed for scummy behavior. A lot of artists I'd never heard of or listened to, and some I had. So that's pretty dark and heavy, and fuck the people that have caused such harm. I hope that survivors get what they need from this, because I realize that making it publicly known can help prevent future harm, but it doesn't necessarily heal wounds that already exist. So I hope that the healing is also a component to this. Otherwise, while it's not for nothing, one of the most important components of this, has yet to occur, I'll say. Additionally, with a band that I knew personally, that band Culture Abuse, the singer who kind of was the band in some ways has been outed for really really bad behavior, I'll say. And we were acquainted, but he was not somebody I knew as well in that band or his old band All Teeth. But it's creepy to think, because I was close friends with other people he's been in bands with. And, it's just like when he was on tour, they crashed in my house. Obviously, nothing was happening, there. And it's not like I knew enough of the scenario, but you think about all of the people that just in your kindness, you've unknowingly helped, to spur on to a greater profile. And I don't think that crashing on my floor helped raise his profile in any way with his old hardcore band. But it's one of those things that you realize, you know, and it's so easy for I think a lot of people who've had experiences like I have, where they've had passing kindnesses with somebody who's done something bad, to say, "Oh, he was always a nice guy," which is, I mean, such shit. Because yeah, of course, I'm not somebody that would have been a potential target for someone like that, and I wasn't in a position to have a prolonged contact with them to see the way they behave towards others, especially people that they would have been sexually interested in. So of course, I had a relatively mundane experience of somebody who, in some circumstances did bad things because they weren't given the circumstance to do something poor. It doesn't mean that they're not totally capable of that. So it's been a hell of a week for, overdue reckonings. And, hopefully this means that there will be more space given to people who are truly actually decent people without shitty skeletons in their closet, especially people who are not just, straight white men, powerful men, mediocre men. I realize that, sexual assault and misbehavior can be done by people of any gender, any walk of life. But, let's be real. It's often a byproduct of power imbalances and who has the most power in our society. It's pretty easy if you look at that. Who might be, given enough power. Gonna check again to see if our Ithaca friends are here to join us, because I realize that we don't want Ben's opinion time here. Although I think these are important topics, and I think that if you disagree with me from any stance other than thinking I'm not harsh enough, perhaps, we stand with uh, the cause and the future, and the future will not look kindly upon past misdeeds. A lot of these things are not the kind of thing you can say it was a different time. Certainly, different times, there were things that were social norms that were okay, but it doesn't make it okay. I don't think anybody ever has thought treating another human poorly for any specific demographic cause or anything, or any personal gain. I don't think anybody's ever thought that was a good thing or a noble thing. I just think that some people realized it was more widely accepted, and so they said, "Fuck it, I'm going to be selfish." Let's be real. But especially in the age of people having cell phones and being able to text, be scumbags through a personal device in their pocket, that's not a different time. But how are you doing where you are? I know that at least one of my viewers is here in the New York Metro, uh, where it has been fucking horrendously sticky today and just gross. Uh, I've spent most of the last week in my bedroom because we have this roller unit. It's like the size of R2D2. It just is. It's like the AC, because there's no central air in this building, and I think in most buildings in Brooklyn. So we just have this little thing, and we just shut all the windows and doors to the one room and spend all our time in there, which is not good for my health. But that's okay. Because making unhealthy decisions in life may not be metal, but it is for me. I feel very validated in my recklessness and foolishness. And it looks like I'm getting more viewers again. Our dear friends from the band Ithaca were simply on their way home from work when I began this. And so they may still be getting set up. Please do not been tricked unless they have tricked me. But we have nothing nothing but love for them. It's going to be their drummer Lewis and their vocalist Jamila, two lovely people who will say lovely things and hopefully placate me and feed my ego, because we know that I'm the actual star of the show. Cool, I got a message from Jamila. I'm saying I've sent you an email with the details. So hopefully we will be seeing them soon. And if not, I used to do entire episodes of this just by myself, where I would be like, look at this cassette tape I got. Don't you love cassettes? Souls at Zero is great. Goblins are great too. Audio went down and it's back. Oh, I'm glad that it's back. Sorry that it went down. It's weird because obviously I can't hear what you guys are hearing. So until I have a guest, I hear no audio because I'm just talking into my computer. I'm hoping for the best. But yeah, Souls at Zero is a wild ass record. I have the Strength and Vision box set from Neurosis, which has every record of theirs on vinyl and CD in it. Mine got very damaged by FedEx, but that's a story for another time. We are now joined by members of Ithaca, so thank you all for your patience, and welcome, Jamila.
Hey, Pop. How are you?
Hey, doing well. Good to see you. I hope you didn't have to rush too much getting in from work. I know that this was like you were like on your way home as we began here.
Yes, exactly. I feel like I missed the beginning, so sorry.
That's
sorry for missing.
Yeah, it really everybody's time. So this is kind of perfect. I've been drinking by myself as one does, and discussing the nature of all of the shit that's gone down between Burger Records and culture abuse and all of the the justified call-outs in our community. It's simultaneously upsetting because you don't want these things to exist within something you care about, but it's also, for me at least, it's like, well, fucking good, so we can get rid of people that are doing that and hopefully lead to healing for people that are survivors.
Okay, sure, yeah. I saw that today. And it's very interesting. And very, rough, I guess, for a lot of friends I know who haven't seen it and stuff. But it was kind of, it was weird. I don't know. I think that they definitely, basically, what I'm doing is taking my glasses off because the reflex of them is like.
Well, the signal got a little funny for a second here. We've got you frozen with like things frozen. I just had you frozen with your glasses like that for a good.
Really? Like
that. So sorry. What was that?
It's this.
It doesn't bother me to see the reflection back on you, but if it's bothering you, by all means, look your best.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because kind of seeing their response to what happened was interesting. I think they dealt with it in the right way.
As do I, but they're from my hometown. They're members of the band. They're friends of mine. Not all of them, and not the fella who's been called out, but I knew him. So it's been very strange.
I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
It's and it's honestly, I'm fine. And it's one of those things that it does reinforce though that it's very easy for us when we are in a situation there's like I am not somebody who demographically or categorically would have been a potential target from someone like this. I'm not somebody who was ever in a situation where I would have been witness to that. So
Sure.
it's easy not to see that in somebody and just say, oh, I see this fellow at a show. And from what I've gathered, it looks like a lot of what he did was not done at shows. It was done, in his phone, which I think we're going to see a growing trend of that sort of predation. And so it never surprises me when I see influential people abusing their power. If anything, I hope it makes us all more aware of how easy it is for that to happen. I don't think it's a good thing, obviously, but I'm sick of people saying, "Oh, well, he was always nice to me." It's like, of course, you weren't a target.
Fucking same, yeah. Yeah.
So,
For real.
that's it's unpleasant, and it left a really gross knot in my stomach yesterday. Thinking about the people who I know who had been in bands with him, who are good people, who've made records with him, who now have to re-examine their own art. Like, I feel for them. I feel worse for Survivor, obviously, because the impact on that person is going to be the worst.
For sure.
So are we waiting on Lewis?
Yes, we are. Yeah. Let me just drop him a message. And
no worries.
the thing to know about Lewis is he's like super technologically.
I think we've had the signal dip again. But yeah, you said Lewis is off social media, so he's living a better life than the rest of us.
Exactly, that's the thing. So what I'm going to do is do like the really embarrassing old person thing, and I'm going to call him.
That it's we call people. That's how the world.
Hi, are you gonna join us? Did you get the email? What is your preferred email? You what? Say that again. Okay, we'll send it to that then. Okay, I'll see you very shortly. Ciao.
Would you like to forward it, or would you like me to send a new email to Lewis? We can give his email out to the whole internet,
James Bishop, can you send the invite to James Bishop Lewis at gmail.com?
Give me just a moment. The signal dipped when you were saying his email. So what is it? You've frozen again. Sorry,
No.
Keeps freezing. Okay, so what is his email?
James Bishop Lewis at gmail.com.
All right, James Bishop Lewis at Gmail. No periods or any surprise spellings in that.
No, just gmail.com.
It has been sent to him. It's just an email with no subject with a link, so hopefully he trusts it enough.
I literally just called him and he was like, "Oh, what is the thing?" And I was like, "Dude, old man, here's the thing."
No, that's fine.
He's funny, but he'll be joining us very shortly. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, no, and he's a fellow beer geek, you've said, so we're gonna get some wisdom there. What are you drinking?
So I am drinking. I was really hoping to have some super interesting beers with me tonight. But basically, what happened is, if you're a friend of mine or if you know me at all, basically what you'll know is that if I ever have super interesting beers or fun beers, I will try and save them for a good time.
Yeah.
And then it won't happen because I get fucking drunk and I drink them. So I've literally had instances where I have had beers that are worth hundreds of pounds, where I've had beers that I've personally had beers that I've aged for 7 or 8 years myself. Yeah. I've literally aged beers for a decade and been like, I'm gonna drink these for like a good.
Howdy. I connected.
Hey, welcome. It's good.
Hey, dude.
So Jamil is explaining why she drank all the good beers before the episode began.
The good beers?
Apparently,
rubbish cheap lager. There's no good beers.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of explaining the fact that I routinely get good beers that I really want to save for a good occasion. And I've had beers that have been like beers that you would save for like 20 or 30 years. And then you get home drunk and you're like, great idea.
So you've been on the sesh for like the past few hours then?
Great idea. Great idea. Great idea. Basically, Ben, I'm a fucking idiot. Is basically what this conversation is. I'm an asshole.
So what are you drinking?
So I am drinking. Oh God, I wish it was something way more fun, man. I'm drinking this. I'm drinking this.
That's nice.
Yeah. What? Meantime.
Yes, exactly. So I shouldn't be drinking meantime because they are my. So you know how I work for a brewery?
You do, yes.
They're basically our direct competition.
Well, this is incentive for your brewery to give you more beer for free. If they did, you would not be drinking the competition.
Yeah.
Well, no,
you got to drink the competition to know what it tastes like.
Exactly.
You're just like behind enemy lines. That's all you're doing.
Right. So today at work, I had my boss gave us a half day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So from like 2 or 3, we went to the new brewery that we just moved to, and we drank a lot of beer.
Yeah, I can tell, mate.
You're so rude.
So what are you drinking?
Yeah, Lewis, tell us what you're drinking.
Good old London Pride.
Oi, London Pride!
But then, I was like, what do I buy for a beer aficionado stream? Because that's a bit boring. So I bought some Dark Star Session Pale. So I'm bougie, but
Yeah.
Which Dark Star is it?
Ooh.
It's a Session IPA.
Okay.
Nice.
What I really appreciate is the fact that Lewis bought a beer by a brewery that fired me last year. That's like a really
unintended.
What you really want is to take that fucking dagger and just...
Yeah, I'll keep going. This is bad love. This is.
Good, yeah, good. Sorry, man.
What's crazy is you asked the drummer on to talk, which is like, who does that? Well, Mills is like, you want to come talk? I'm like, no one wants to be a drummer.
The drummer is, without a doubt, in almost every band I've been in, at least, the best musician in the band.
No, not in this band. No. There are some very talented guitarists and a very talented vocalist. I am.
How much did they pay you to say that?
They'll beat me if I don't. No. I'm all right.
But you know, this if this was about skill, I wouldn't have a place on this channel at all. You know, the point is for us to you know, have a good time.
Yeah.
It's something, you know, with Ithaca. I realize we've been talking for nearly half an hour and we've barely gotten to the band at all, which I appreciate because that's the nature of these. You know, it's like I think it's shifted in the UK, but here in the United States, in most places, we're still on quarantine lockdown. It's just a way to connect with people, you know. So yeah. There's some questions we want to highlight the bands, but also it's nice to have something to do that is not part of the absolute weight of everything right now, but also isn't like against it, because like some people's ways of distracting themselves I think are kind of counterproductive and maybe not so good, but like, you know, like we're not denying reality, but we're carving out a little hole within it.
Nice.
And I wanted to ask you, because I noticed, you know, I try to make sure I'm not asking the same questions. It looks like Jamila's frozen. I appreciate this.
Yeah, it's great screen grab.
She keeps getting stuck. There was one point where she was adjusting her glasses, and so
Okay.
Yeah, there we are. Hello. As I had a frozen still of Jamila doing this for like a good 15 seconds.
Yeah, same.
Was up. I know that the band started quite a long time ago. You've released your first record last year, but you've been a band for what, 8-9 years now?
Yeah, ages. I don't really know. Like, I think we're just all quite busy people. That's like, we work full-time jobs, so like it's kind of like we'd all love to just like do the band full-time, but that's a conversation. You know, I think if we did like do more, if we were all full-time, I think we'd put out more stuff. But it's a mix of like we work different jobs. Sam, the guitarist, does a lot of the writing. He comes with a lot of the ideas, and so everything kind of goes through Sam's head and then brings it to us. So it's kind of like that's the way we work best, I think. So, you know, we could have put out more stuff, and then we're also quite highly opinionated knobs. So some things that we could have put out an album that is just an album, but we like to take our time and make sure it's good. You know.
I think that pays off, though. You know, it seemed I've been, you know, via Twitter. Obviously, you folks haven't played on this side of the ocean yet. No, but I've been aware of your career for some time now, and it seems that you've. I think that was coming.
This is me. Let's do it.
It's great. You've done some high-profile tours and gigs in the last year. You know, and there's been a lot of attention. I mean, Holy Roar is, you know, it's an indie label, but it's not something to scoff at either. You know, that's a sizable, respectable label that you worked with for your debut record. That's a pretty big deal. So I think sometimes the slow growth thing is great. You know, it may look like to people who aren't familiar, but it, you know, you built for something rather than just trying to climb it.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of funny thing is we get a lot of press, which is kind of like, oh, you know, new band, like new upstarts, Ithaca, and we're like, we've been going for about 8 years, you know, and like it's like, yeah, it's cool. Obviously, like you have to like tag stuff. Things have got to have like a thing in the music industry, and like it sounds exciting and it's nice to be an upstart. It's like, oh, and maybe you get that kind of feeling like when you read that, you're like, oh, it's a cool new band I can jump on. But from us, we read that and we're like, can we be established hardcore band Ithaca? Because we've been going for a long time now. Like,
yeah, well, it's like, yeah, it's like you're not 20. You know, it's like
no, definitely not 20 anymore. No way. Oh.
But you know, the thing is, when we started, we were.
Yeah. But that's the whole point. Like, you know, I mean, I remember being in bands when I was 21 and thinking I was already too old because it's like, oh, I haven't made it yet. I'm fucked. And now it's like, you know. But no, I think it's great. I also noticed So you folks, I think the core of the band came together pretty early, but you found Jamila through a singer wanted ad. So
Yeah.
she's the one doing all the interviews. When it's like singer for hire here. Like it strikes me as
Yeah, she thought it would just be awful, like it'd be a piss take, her rocking up. And then she was like, "Oh, you're generally like quite nice people, This ain't too bad."
Yeah, we did a. It was kind of a singer I wanted advert, I guess. Kind of that sort of thing. But everyone else who kind of responded to it was, oh man, so much worse.
Yeah. I mean, Sam will tell it better, but he had a lot of like strange replies. Just
got weird for a second. Sorry, we're all back. So
Sam would tell it better.
The other people who.
Oh yeah.
So you're saying, Jamila, that the other singers that tried out weren't that good. Everybody else was worse.
I don't think they even got through to the singing section. It was an obvious no. It's a bit of a crapshoot on like a free singer wanted website. It's like when you see those. It's a bit like when you see those posters up at like a practice room, and it says something like, "We need a drummer, and the drummer has to have a van and a lighting rig, and we play like covers." And you're like, "Yeah, like good, you're trying, but that's like you're not gonna get like. There's no way someone's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's me. I've got that free time and money to do that."
Yeah.
So a lot of the people were like, "Oh, like just not obviously suited for the band." And Mills was the first person that popped down, and she was like the best. So
that's amazing.
Lucky. Yeah, super lucky.
The fun story about it is that they got, from what I've heard, like, a lot of people who messaged back being like, "We love your advert, we love it." So what we really love is like PJ Harvey, and what we really love is like if you're super into PJ Harvey and like I'm really into like Bruno Mother and all this kind of stuff. And Sam was like,
"No, yeah."
Cool, but that
like and PJ Harvey's good, but that's not the same. That's
right.
Not a point of connection.
It's not even like remotely what he was asking for, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing was there was like a couple of sort of buzzwords in his advert that kind of gave you the idea of what they were looking for. They were like, oh, we're big fans of like Veils, Dillinger Escape Plan, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. So I messaged, and the fun story behind it is that the only reason I was ever on that website was because I was trolling him.
Yeah, right.
The only reason I was on that website is because I used to troll that website with my friend.
Yeah. And then when you came to the practice room and you were like, we were just doing some crappy song that we'd started doing,
right.
And we were like, Mills, like we could just sing over the top of it, just sing. And so Mills just did some Limp Bizkit vocals, but screamed them. And we were like, yeah, you're in the I mean, let's get going. And then Mills was like, well, this is too like wussy. We're gonna like, we're like, okay, we'll change it. Like,
she told you were too wussy.
Pretty much, yeah. We were a bit too, yeah.
Basically, what happened was that I eventually spoke to Sam about the band and stuff, and Sam was like, "Cool, yeah, I mean, for sure, come down." And then I had to send that message. It was really awkward and was like, look, just so you know, I'm a woman. Because I don't think Sam realised at that point. And Sam was like, that's fucking super cool. Like, that's super cool. Like, come down or whatever. So I did basically the worst thing you can do, where I was at that point in my life where, like, I went to a industrial estate to meet 4 men that I'd never met in the middle of winter without telling anyone on a Friday evening. Don't ever do that. Is what I said.
No, that's there we go. So we're getting wholesome life lessons here. This is great.
Yeah.
But then you were pleasantly surprised.
Don't ever do that, basically. I did that. And we went down, and Sam was like, oh, we'll play like a song if you want to do like an ad-lib, whatever. It's like an ad-lib, whatever that means. And I was like, okay, fine. And then they like played a song that they'd written, and I did like an ad-lib, you know, like whatever, vocals over the top. Screaming, whatever, harsh vocals, kind of feeling my way through it. And then after they stopped and they were like, what was that? That sounded amazing. What was it? What was it? Like that sounded amazing. What was it? Like fucking, that was great stuff by Limp Bizkit.
And obviously we were all in love.
And you haven't never done a proper cover of that though, but now is the time. You're in quarantine. What else are you doing? You're not in quarantine.
A complete Limp Bizkit, like their whole album, all the hits. Do it justice.
Yeah,
it'll be so good.
I like that. I like that Limp Bizkit keeps coming up. I was in talking to Jamila. I accidentally got rolling stuck in Tony, Jamila's fiance's head the other day. I told him a story because it's not nice for everybody. But he got frustrated with me because I got Limp Bizkit stuck in his head. The story wasn't even about Limp Bizkit, but he started. It's his fault. He thought about rolling. You know?
Yeah. I think that was my first metal album. No, first was Linkin Park, by far.
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah.
Hybrid Theory was my first like love.
See,
what was your first album?
Jamila?
What, mine?
Yeah.
What, my first?
First like metal album.
What do you mean? What, like new metal?
No, just metal. Anything. Could be Maiden or Metallica or anything. That was the first one you bought.
Oh, that I bought.
Yeah.
This is the tricky question, right? This is the fun question that I have, because I had a new metal album bought for me before I was able to buy a new metal album.
What was it?
So, for my birthday, when I was 12 years old, my older brother bought me Science by Incubus, which was a massive introduction to like, you know, metal, new metal and stuff. And that album fucking bangs, like ridiculous, so good. But the first one that I think I actually bought myself was, it probably would have been like Slipknot or Linkin Park or something.
Yeah.
That makes sense. No, I mean that's I'm assuming we're all in the same general age group, and those were the bands that were that you would hear first. It's not even a matter. It's like it was everywhere. I'm 33. So when I was starting to really pay attention to music, the huge bands that I would see, we didn't listen to the radio as much, but I'd come home from school and we'd watch the MTV's TRL program. It was 1998. They would play Limp Bizkit. They would play KoRn. They would play Orgy. And okay, the one I gravitated towards the most was Orgy doing their New Order cover because I was a child of 80s music and.
Oh my god, fucking New Order cover. Yes, I mean, yeah.
But so it makes sense. And then then like a year or two later, suddenly it's not just these couple bands. It's like suddenly there's Linkin Park and there's everything. There's Papa Roach. There's all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember putting in Linkin Park, like getting Hybrid Theory, the CD, and putting it in, and just being like, that was the most amazing thing I've ever listened to in my life.
Yeah.
Like up to being like, I don't know how old I was. Must be 12, 13 or whatever. But just being like, what the hell did I just listen to? Yeah. Crazy.
No, it was astonishing. I was in their fan club for a couple of years as a teenager.
I really fan club.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that. That's cute.
That's really cute.
But yeah. So and while we're on the topic, I know that it's been often discussed, a big gateway record, Jamila, for you was the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack. You told us, you've mentioned that you put it on, your older brother bought it, and you heard the Mushroom Head song that changed your life.
Yes.
It wasn't the Mushroom Head song, but...
Yeah, I talk about this record a lot, and I feel like I should eventually get like, I feel like they should give me royalties or something from the amount that I talk about this record. Because I think
from like a defunct movie soundtrack CD, you should get records. You get royalties.
I honestly think I talk about this record more than fucking anyone has in the past 20 years.
Yeah, that for sure. I think you're the only person who's talked about it.
Yeah, probably. Except for the bands who were on it, maybe.
No one gives a shit about this fucking OST more than I do, right? So this soundtrack is something that is so ridiculous, and I think about it all the time. There's not like a moment that goes by where I'm like not thinking about it, because I'm basically a fucking loser. Like, I always think about this record where I'm like, oh god, this fucking record. And it is genuinely the record that gave, not just, I wouldn't say introduced me to metal, that's not the right phrase. It's something that gave me the sort of range of what metal is, I think. If that is a reasonable kind of...
It's Freddy vs. Jason, a film?
Yes, yeah.
Is it like the dead Jason or the reincarnated Jason? Or the dead Freddy? what number is Freddy versus Jason in the Jason, in the Nightmare films and the Jason films?
This is a good question.
It's just Jason.
But is it the original Jason or the one that got killed?
It's the original Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I never even saw the movie, but I bought that sound.
Oh really?
Oh man, it's trash.
What?
It's fucking trash. I mean, the movie...
Well, I bought, and I feel like you probably, judging by your comments, did similar to me. I bought so many soundtracks to trash movies because new metal and metalcore bands are on them. I bought the Scorpion soundtrack. I bought the Underworld soundtrack.
Yeah.
Which is how I found the Dillinger Escape Plan, to be fair.
Whoa.
Because I'd heard them before. I'd heard the Mike Patton EP on mp3.com, and I was too young. I wasn't ready for it. And then I bought that soundtrack that had Baby's First Coffin, and it was just like one of those like that was like my what the fuck thing, was buying that. And suddenly. Back in the era of like live journalism, my handle on everything on AIM and all that was Baby's First Coffin with X's in it because I was straight edge.
Yes.
Classic.
I'll be right back. I've got to get another beer.
Oh, me and Milton
And then
chat.
I've got some good.
We'll chat.
I'm sorry.
Me and Milton just chat.
You sure?
Right, mate.
Hey, Lewis, how are you?
How you doing?
Good, yeah, good. I've been at work all day, so
Same.
I know, but yours is less fun than mine is, right?
Today was especially not fun.
Oh, babe, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I forgot about this. We got one of our viewers, Ben Reichman, talking about the Godzilla soundtrack with that Rage Against the Machine song.
Oh,
I think it was
yeah.
No Shelter.
Yeah. I had also the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, which had Take a Look Around. I had that on repeat on my Walkman. Like,
Okay, so the biggest Limp Bizkit fan I've ever known is my mother.
Unexpected.
Yeah, my mother is a huge fan of Limp Bizkit. She was actually the person that bought that CD and brought it into my home when I was, a kid in the 90s.
What the fuck?
And so, but when my mom first joined Facebook, and she joined Facebook before I did, I joined Facebook because she needed to be a helper with Farmville, and she paid me money to join Facebook.
Wow. Cool mom.
She back in the day, Facebook, you had to have a quote, or you could list your favorite quotes. And my mom had lyrics from "Take a Look Around" by Limp Bizkit as her Facebook quote, and she
Classic.
refused to accept friend requests from like my really Christian cousins because she didn't want them to see it. This is a good 12 years ago. I guess she was still in her late 40s at that point, but still, it was just like, this is a very grown woman.
This is so amazing. I'm simultaneously stressed out and so impressed at the same time. I'm like, whoa.
It's weird. It's weird when you meet people in life who you don't expect to be into like metal or hardcore. I don't know.
Yeah.
My grand's like 90. My mum went to like see her in the care home, and she was just talking to like some older women, 80s, 90s, and mentioned that I was in a metal band, expecting, and this old granny goes, "Oh yeah, I love a bit of hardcore, yeah," like, and you're like, what?
That's amazing, though.
You're what? Yeah.
That's great.
Legend.
It's great that it's like transcends.
That's so cute. I love that.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, while we're here,
Yes.
I just looked up the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack because I have obviously have a CD copy of it here. Obvi.
Of course you do.
You've got the laser disc, probably.
She's got like the promo single copy.
Yeah. She's got like the mask, the original prop as well somewhere.
You know what? I'm waiting
for like the hand to come in wearing a Freddy mask or something. All wrinkled.
Yeah, original machete.
No, the more I look at it, the more I feel justified in being like, this is the perfect introduction to metal. Like the more, like every year someone asks me about it, and every year I look at this CD basically, and every year I feel more and more justified in its introduction to like metal and hardcore. I feel like this is the perfect OST.
Yeah, but like 15 years ago, maybe.
No, Lewis, fuck off. Lewis is laughing at me. So imagine this, right? Repeat this. Imagine. I don't know what year it has to be. It might be this year. It might be 10 years ago. But you're watching the movie, right? And the soundtrack is, I'm going to read it out to you. The soundtrack is, shut up, Lewis, stop laughing. The soundtrack is Il Nino, Kill Switch Engage, Spine Shank, Mushroom Head, Hate Breed, Slipknot, Chimera.
Yeah.
From Autumn to Ashes. Right. Seven Dust, we don't talk about Seven Dust or whatever.
No.
No.
How
I saw him live around that time. Not.
I mean, Tony Hawk's. Let's go. They should do shows which are all dayers based off of OSTs. So you go and watch all the bands that were linked via a movie soundtrack. I'd go to them.
That would be good.
I've lost you both.
Oh, okay. So it's both of us. Because I see you,
And-
Lewis, but I.
Yeah. That's the sofa.
Jamila's gone now. You've gotten lower. It seems.
My sofa died.
Oh, yeah. No, there was a little bit of everything on that soundtrack, but I also remember there being that Seether song. Like it was.
Yeah. Seether.
Oh fuck! That was horrible. But you know, it had the In Flames, which was a big one for me. You know, there was good stuff. You know,
how much do you get for being on a film soundtrack back in the day?
Nothing.
Is it nothing? Is it nothing?
They pay you like $200. No.
Is that it? Oh, flipping heck!
Yeah.
You think you get more for like a good film?
Well, no, because you remember what happened when we got asked to be on that.
but this wasn't a good film.
You know, like when we asked to be in the game soundtrack. Remember that game soundtrack that they asked us?
Oh, the game soundtrack, yes.
Yeah, what was it? What game was that again?
I don't think we could probably say.
Oh no, we're not allowed to say, are we?
No, we're tight-lipped. There was a large, impressive video game that was.
Yeah, you know.
But they were fishing for original music for cheap.
Yeah.
You know.
But
it happens.
You know.
You know, but if you're on like the Matrix soundtrack where you've got Rob Zombie and shit, that may be a different scenario. I don't think that Rob Zombie is taking $200 for a contribution. You know, it's like here's Dragula, here's $200.
Right.
This is the most chaotic interview I've done, and I'm really enjoying it. This is good.
Oh yeah, I think
it's making my day.
Every conversation with Jamila is chaotic, so don't. This is normal. I'm joking. Oh, she's lovely. I'm joking.
No, I love it. I feel like she decided, I think, that she wanted to do this after watching one of my friends join one of these, and just like I was doing them on Instagram before I realized I should interview people. I had this friend who came and he asked to join my Instagram video just so he could shotgun a beer and then leave. And Jamila was watching and thought it was the best thing she'd ever seen. And so I think it spoke to that chaotic nature.
I don't think
and then you're stuck. And I'm not shotgunning beers.
I've never shotgunned a beer. How do you shotgun it? Is that you have to puncture it and then you open it?
Yes. Now I'm of weak constitution, and I think it was when I still lived across the country. It was, I think, my 28th, 29th birthday.
Yeah.
I shared a birthday party with a friend of mine who was turning 24, 25, and he was well versed in the art of shotgunning, and I shotgunned a couple of cheap loggers with him that he helped me to shotgun.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know how to do it myself.
But like,
I felt bad.
It's like a very American thing, because like that isn't a thing over in the UK. And all, like, if I see a video, it'll be like spring break and like shotgun. That's like. Have you shotgunned a beer, Mills?
Have I what?
Shotgunned a beer.
When? Today?
Ever.
When?
I think that's a no.
No, I love it. Well, no, because Jimmy, I was telling the story of how you watched my friend shotgun a beer on my Instagram story, and you just
I love that.
yeah. So
So I was
you
saying,
know,
have you shotgunned a beer, Mills?
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a thing over here.
yeah. Why haven't you?
Well, yeah, it's not really like a thing. Well,
That's not a thing.
what we're saying is, it's not really a thing over here because in the UK, I feel like we don't ever necessarily feel the need to sort of prove what we can drink
No,
because
you proved it just well enough.
we all know that we are and our friends are pieces of shit. So we don't need to be like shotgun.
Yeah.
We
No, there's a degree of self-loathing involved in the shotgun.
Yeah.
So I understand it's punishment because even if you're seeking rapid intoxication, there are better ways to do it that are not as uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I think like a rite of passage in the UK of like when you're that ripe age of drinking or just below it is to like go to the park and you have like a big bottle of cider, which is like a plastic bottle, and you pass it around, so you can't shotgun that. You know what I mean? But that's like, but I feel in America it's like get like a 6-pack, and it's like shotgunning is like a rite of passage. Yeah.
It may be. I mean, as I don't know. The first time I drank, I was drinking with people who were in their 40s, and I was definitely not. I mean, I'm still not in my 40s. I had older friends. Okay.
Okay.
It was and so it was my friend who's passed away now. He was 55 when he passed away last year. So I think he was like 40 something. And his thing, because I was not of legal age here, shame on me. He said it's really fucking weird that you're not drinking because everybody's just hanging out drinking and you're watching us. And I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. And he's like,
Right.
Have a drink. So there was none of the pressure for it to be a showing thing. It was just like, have a drink.
Oh, this is normal, yeah.
Yeah, you're safe. I'm cooking dinner. Have a goddamn drink. But of course, I did 13 shots that night because I wasn't trying to prove it.
13 shots of what?
Jägermeister.
Can you still drink Jägermeister now?
Yes, it was actually my drink of choice for a very long time because I mixed it with root beer.
Ah, yummy.
It's like the same flavor, so it makes it okay. But I would not. I don't go out of my way to have it now. But
it's not okay. It's not okay.
I'm not one of those people that seeks it. I mean, I think if I'm having liquor, it's probably going to be scotch or vodka.
Fine.
Yeah. But
I feel like Jägermeister is like, I have friends who love Jägermeister, right?
Yeah.
It's like a personality.
Yeah, it's a personality. And Jägermeister is like their like drink of choice or whatever. That's their personality and stuff. And I always just think like there are cheaper ways to tell people.
Yeah.
There are cheaper ways to tell people that you're a virgin.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So
I was trying to be one of those people in a band. I'm like, oh, if I keep drinking Jägermeister, maybe I can tour with Slayer or some other Jägermeister band.
Yeah.
And it's like, in retrospect, I knew that was not happening, but at the same time, I think as by far the most effeminate member of my local extreme metal scene, my way of saying like, okay, like, look, I know I'm me and I'm delicate, but also look, I'm drinking Jägermeister. You can't say shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird that you do those things when you're like younger. That you like, yeah.
Well, no, because it's I mean, I think in my case, I actually didn't care if people thought anything about me. I was very, I would intentionally antagonize people by wearing nothing but my shirts of new wave bands when I'd play shows, and I'd be the angry vocalist. So it was just like starting shit. I need to ask you, because we were talking about like rites of passage through alcohol. What is the Big Beer Manifesto?
The Big Beer Manifesto.
Yeah, the Big Beer Manifesto.
Yeah.
So, this comes from a show called Peep Show.
Oh shit! I haven't seen that in a while.
Yes, you said Peep Show, right?
Yeah. No, I know Peep Show.
Yeah,
It's like, been forever. And it's not like I can quote it.
Big Beat.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. They have something in it called the Big Beat Manifesto.
Right.
Which is
What is the Big Beat?
Beats are the best. Get high all the time.
I've lost you, Mills.
There you go.
Yeah, there was video but no sound for a second there.
Big Beats are the best. Get high all the time.
Big Beats are the best. There's like a subculture of Peep Show which is like ingrained in our soul in the UK because you kind of grew up and it was all so relevant. So yeah, Big Beats get high all the time. I don't know why. I don't know when the beer comes in.
A Big Beer Manifesto instead of Big Beat.
What was that? Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Big beers
like,
get drunk all the time.
Yeah. Well, instead of Big Beats are the best, got high all the time, it was always like Big Beers are the best, got high all the time.
So I'm curious because, like, you know, obviously there are different parts of, you know, one's regional culture that make it across to others and some that don't. Like my girlfriend lived in London in, you know, maybe 17, 18 years ago.
Really?
But, you know, she's American but lived there for a year or so for school. And she said everybody would quote The Simpsons to her and stuff. Whereas, right. Which I think is really, you know, because that is one of our best cultural exports, so I'm okay with that. At least nowadays, I have no idea about the quality. I know it's continued, and I've heard it's shit now. But you know, like, so for me as somebody, go ahead.
We still do that. I was going to say we still do that.
Okay.
Like American culture exports are like deeply rooted in our.
Yeah, it's not like it's not dependent on like, oh, you're from the US, so you'll understand Simpsons references or whatever. It's more laid back than that. It's more that, like, if you meet someone that you like, they'll understand your Simpsons references, and they'll understand your Bob's Burgers references, and it's a lot less rooted in it's a lot less rooted in like you're from the US, so you're
of course. I'm just always curious I just always wonder what makes it, because like over here, the pieces of English pop culture that I was aware of were, I mean, of course, Monty Python.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's historic.
But
No, obviously not. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But you know, I was in and then more recently, you know, the Mighty Boosh and anything Noel Fielding has done, and the IT crowd and shit.
Yeah, there are like
and anything Matt Berry does.
It's like the recent stuff,
You know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I'm aware that that's a very specific fragment, almost entirely curated by the BBC. You know.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting what makes it cross.
It's not because like American things are so like every day in our like American culture and like shows. It's like so every day in the UK. Yeah. As like an export of like culture. But I guess it's the same around the world. I guess. You know.
No, we are so obnoxious you can't avoid us, I feel.
Oh yeah, no, you're like everywhere. But even like stuff like just even that's like McDonald's and Burger King and stuff and KFC. Yeah. It's like every single street corner, you know. So
you're not even getting the best of us. I mean, do you have Taco Bell at least if you have all of those?
There's a few locations. When we were on tour last, we went to Ithaca Bell in I think it's a town called where were we? Norwich? Nottingham? And it was like we went to a tequila bar.
You're not allowed to talk about this story, Lewis. It's so
and then we went to one of these Taco Bells, but like it's not like the US. So in the US, a Taco Bell is like there's loads of Taco Bells. You drive into Taco Bell and you get yourself a nice taco and some Barja Blast, right? And then you're all happy, yeah. And it's cheap and it's fine. In the UK, it's like it's touted as this like exotic thing, even though it's not. So they advertise it like, "Ooh, Taco Bell in the UK," and it's all like Mexican, Tex-Mex, and stuff. We went in on like a student night out, and it was like hell on it. It was like the last days of Rome. You know, you imagine like hundreds of pissed up students, and Mills was obviously like gone at this point because she likes the old tequila.
You shut your fucking mouth.
And so Mills was like, and there's you have to order things, and Mills is just like running her hand down the Taco Bell order menu. You know, I want the cheese taco. You know, and then began to eat our Taco Bell whilst biting our fingers. You know, so
I've been that drunk. I understand.
Yeah, you understand. Yeah.
No, Taco Bell was my first job when I was 17.
Oh,
so.
Really? Was it like drive-through, or was it just like fryers?
It was. It's both. But I was. I speak Spanish and English, and most of the fellows I worked with only spoke Spanish, or their English wasn't very good.
Oh, really?
So I actually never had to make the food. They just let me talk to customers because my English was good enough. And that's that is a very specifically California thing to be like that. Obviously, everywhere else, the staff is all white teenagers, but in California, the Hispanic population is larger, and so I would just spend time in the drive-thru yelling. Oh my God, is Jamil?
For some reason, Mills decided to call me. I don't know.
I love that.
I don't know why.
I'm sure I know. Probably alcohol.
Maybe. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, Taco Bell. It's interesting. They're still, to me, they are still the premier garbage fast food chain. If you're gonna have it, that's gonna be better because you can get rice and beans burrito, and that's.
And it's like
it's
$3
not as
or something, isn't it?
Yeah, depending on what it is. Yeah,
the thing is, like in America, it's like so cheap. I guess like you go in and it's like what $5 for like a combo or something. I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. It's been a long time.
In the UK, it's like they charge like because it's like they brand it as like this exotic import from the US, and so like a taco is like £5, which is like $8, and you're like no, it's like cheap food. It's meant to be like quick cheap food. Why are you charging like £8 for a taco?
Yeah, but no, there's something interesting about eating American fast food in other countries. Like every year when I go to Roadburn, inevitably there is, because you've played Roadburn now. Inevitably there's a chance where I've ended my day and I'm stuck in a country where I don't speak the language really, and there's a McDonald's that is open late, and there's not a lot of food open late there.
Yeah.
Inevitably, I'm stuck getting French fries at not even maybe 1 a.m. At McDonald's, and there's all of these drunk Dutch people who have come from the clubs, and I'm just this American trying to navigate this, and I've had drinks, but I'm not on their level.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's a fascinating experience because I'm like, oh man, like I'm in a Dutch McDonald's. Like they're
getting the same food you get back home.
Yeah, like I would never go to McDonald's here. I live in New York. Everything's open 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because you guys are in London, right?
But even then, like it's rare. It's rare to find things that are open like 24 hours. They have a few cafes and stuff, but like
but I can get. Usually here, not everything's open. Like restaurants aren't open, but like bodegas are open. And so if I'm coming home from a night drinking, I can get a grilled cheese so that I don't feel like death tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's annoying that like things like seem to shut, and it's really when you are like on the session you're drinking, you want to like you have like kebab shops and they're open like pretty late, so usually you get a kebab and like chips. That's like the British thing. Yeah.
I love that kebabs are your thing that are open late. Like you've got like all this good halal food that's open late because. There's a culture of that here, but it's not to the same degree. And like if I could just get falafel anywhere like that. It's
Yeah,
like,
mate. The best thing is like falafel wrap at like 2:30 in the morning. It's like
Hey,
oh,
man.
heaven.
Yeah, last year when me and Tony came over, and we were in LA for the KoRn show, and we were staying with a friend who lives on Sunset, and obviously Sunset is amazing, but
it's a wild place.
it's beautiful, but what we weren't used to is that if we get fucked up, right, at 2 a.m, if you guys have Lime scooters where we can go and fucking scoot to our heart's content at 2 a.m, there definitely should be somewhere where we can get some chips, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. You should be able to sober up if you can grab a vehicle.
Devastating. What basically happened was that, you know, the Lime scooters, right? The stupid Lime scooters.
They're not called Lime in US. It's like what's it called?
They are.
Is it Lime in US?
Oh.
Yeah, they were called Lime in the US before we had them. The only reason I knew about them was because we went drinking in this bar off of fucking it wasn't Sunset, it was somewhere similar. And I came outside and saw the scooter and was like, this looks illegal. And Tony was like, yeah, and Tony was like, no, that's very legal. Like, you just have to put money on it. So basically what happened is we rode a bunch of these scooters, which was so fun. And then later that night, we went and we actually did like a craft beer tour, which was real fun. And we have some friends that live in LA or whatever, and they basically took us to like a bunch of craft beer places, which was real cool. Like a bunch of like sort of microbreweries, I guess.
Yeah.
So we went to like 3 or 4 of them, which was really fun. Like 3 or 4 like microbreweries in LA. I don't know what they're called because they're very small batch kind of operations and stuff. And then afterwards, I was like, boom, let's go. Lime scooter. And that's how I knew that we were drunk. Okay.
Yeah. That sounds about right. I mean, American recklessness, or rather, I mean, you're not even American. America encourages recklessness, and it's it can be very entertaining.
Land of the free, mate. Do you want?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's and sadly, I mean, it's the freedom to endanger others,
mate.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, also,
have you been near any protests in California? Is that a thing, or is it more?
I'm not in California now. I grew up there. I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
But yeah, there've been quite a few.
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've got a lot of friends back there still, obviously, and protests are pretty widespread in the major cities. In smaller cities, it's more patchy. But yeah, it's a thing.
I've seen a lot of clips from Portland, which just seem like
Portland stuff is
it's full on like.
I'm an idiot. I've moved a lot. I lived in Portland for 2.5 years, and because I've made a point to live in enough places so that I can. Everywhere has been home. Now Portland right now is really concerning, and I could probably spend the next hour talking about that.
We definitely could. Like unmarked, like federal agents coming in and grabbing people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's horrifying. It's atrocious.
Horrifying. Atrocious.
You know, to me, it's not even a political left-right thing, although obviously I lean far to the left politically. It's just like does this not alarm you thing? Like the fact that people of any stripe are not scared and concerned by that is actually the most remarkable thing about it.
Yes.
You know, well, like, people are like, oh yeah, we can't wear a mask because people are like, the government are trying to use that to sort of record your personality and all this blah blah blah. And I'm like, you fucking suck because this is like the real shit that's going on.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
that's the thing. So, like, when people are worried about wearing a mask in public, and then I'm like, oh, that's your concern, is your rights being infringed upon. And it's like, I mean, yeah, let's say theoretically, let's pretend that we have no idea scientifically. If my options are I can wear a mask and it turns out to be for nothing, or
Yeah.
and maybe it turns out that I was a complete dickhead for not wearing a mask, I'm going to run the risk of wearing nothing, because at least then people won't think I'm an asshole. Like,
Then you'd never be a dickhead, though. That's the thing. You'd never be a dickhead. That's the thing. Like, if you did the thing that was like what you thought was the right thing for everyone else, you'd never be a dickhead.
Well, right, and I think that's the thing. Like, it's really just a matter of how everybody's looking for themselves, not thinking that others might also exist.
Sure.
But I know, but I will say our American recklessness also took rock and roll from and I from a not so dangerous thing to suddenly you have Iggy Pop and then bands like the Dillinger Escape Plan Line. Like, those are that being a fucked up musician doing dumb things on stage is an American tradition that everybody else has learned, but like it started here.
Yeah.
So maybe some of that foolishness is kind of cool. Like, like I think of punk as a UK thing, but you guys were inspired by the Stooges, so I'm going to claim a little ownership there. The MC5 and the Stooges.
I don't look at punk as being a UK thing or a US thing anymore. Maybe because I spent so long studying. Maybe because I spent so long studying punk, whatever. I did that at uni. I studied elements of punk at university to a point where it didn't feel punk anymore. Obviously, it weren't punk anymore.
Yeah.
It didn't feel punk. I was studying Malcolm McLaren.
Studying Malcolm McLaren.
Yes. And
people, that's a capitalist.
Yes, and people always ask me why I dropped out of uni and why I quit my degree halfway through. That's it. Like, that is a snapshot of why I did that.
There's certainly a commercialism to a lot of that stuff that diluted any of the potency it had.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Of course.
I
love the Damned, though. I love them dearly.
Yeah. But whenever something gets commercialized, it gets killed off.
Of course.
That's the problem. It's like,
when you the second a movement that is counterculture is given a name that people can recognize and therefore start to put parameters on, it's going to lose its power.
Yeah.
It's like it's something like being in black metal as one of my favorite genres. People are like, black metal is this, it's dangerous. It's like, black metal isn't fucking anything, but have
I still think black metal lives on the kind of niche edge of things, though. So it's quite a safe bet that you're not going to be rolled into the mainstream with like black metal.
But it's also when it's been sensationalized in the news and you've got the movie. I do think that inevitably there's a chance for it to be altered and misconstrued, and that's fine.
But I think it survived like the rise in like the 80s and I don't know, the year when obviously you've got the Norwegian church burnings and that kind of stuff.
And that was 1994 was a fucking year for them.
I think that was like you roll that, but like now I don't know, it's kind of gone into obscurity again. Maybe I don't know, but
I don't know.
Anyway, we spoke about this before about like what makes black metal dangerous. and we've had this discussion numerous times, and it's not something that you can qualify.
Yeah.
Then we
Yeah.
could have this conversation for years.
Of course. You could.
We could, and we'd fight about it forever. We'd argue forever about like what makes black metal dangerous. And for me personally, as if anyone gives a shit about what my opinion is, like whatever, I'm gonna give it to you anyway. My opinion about what makes black metal dangerous is when you listen to something and it's not dangerous as in it's like fucking fash.
Yeah.
Or
Okay, yeah.
it's, for me, what makes music, well, not even just black metal actually, what I will reclassify what I'm saying, it's not what makes black metal dangerous, it's what makes any music dangerous, is when you listen to something that is so like beautifully on the edge of reason, and on the edge of emotion, and on the edge of like when you listen to something and it's so unbelievably close that it feels dangerous, that you don't know how to react, or like that level of emotion that's so
Like
close.
you go listen to something that's incredibly like abrasive and just horrible.
Yes.
And that's like, but like obviously, but like it's dangerous when you pin like an ideology to that music. That's when it becomes dangerous. Like but like obviously, but if something is just out there without an ideology and it's just like pure emotion, that's when you kind of hits you, and you haven't got like.
Lewis, for me, danger it's not about aggression or abrasion at all. It's never about that. And the thing that really entertains me is that one of the reasons that I really love black metal is that it's never about like being aggressive or being abrasive or any of that stuff. It's like the thing for me that makes it, I don't know if anyone will ever agree with me, but the thing for me that makes it dangerous is like when I listen to something, like when I listen to a band that I really love, like Wolves in the Throne Room, for example.
Yeah.
We can all agree are amazing, and if you disagree, suck my massive dick because you're an idiot. Listen to Wolves in the Throne Room, and if you don't connect with them emotionally, I connect with them emotionally in a way that a lot of people don't with black metal, and that's why I find them dangerous, because they take a genre of metal that's not normally emotionally connected, kind of generally a lot of the time, and they do that, and then I find myself connecting with that emotionally, and I find that dangerous because I don't want to connect with that emotionally. It's hard to say that like I see myself in that. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. But I always feel with black metal bands, like obviously there's an element to me of like kind of like humor, where where like the various music videos when you're on a mountain in Norway, and but like I know that's not like the new black metal, which is what we're talking, the emotional stuff. But like, is there an element of like, even with Ithaca in our band, is like we write things and then we laugh because it's like it's kind of silly. It's almost like it's almost ridiculous, and we're like, no, it sounds sick, but it's ridiculous. Our black metal bands, like, at what point do they stop and they kind of laugh about what they're writing, or what point do they go, oh no, this is deadly serious? Like,
I hope they laugh.
I think there's an
absurdity. They laugh, right?
You gotta laugh. And I noticed, when I was looking at your Bandcamp to get the link to share your Bandcamp with people preparing for this. And I don't know if you chose it or if Holy Roar did, but you were tagged as emotional hardcore.
Right.
And but not emo core. There's a difference. There's a big difference between the two. But I thought that was amusing, like, you know, because I feel like most music that is evocative should be emotional. So it was odd to me that it, you know, because I've been a little less connected with hardcore for the last 5-10 years than I used to be. And it was weird to me, the notion that hardcore shouldn't be emotional by default, because everything should, just as everything is political, everything should evoke some sort of feeling.
So emotion.
So my feedback for that is that emotional hardcore is a tag that was given to bands in the sort of late 2000s that were bands that you didn't particularly want to listen to be honest.
Oh.
Which kind of pisses me off in a way. In the way that you would be like, I don't know, Lewis may disagree with me because I have a tendency to take things personally, right? But emo core is different to emotional hardcore.
No, it's very different.
So emotional hardcore makes me think of Defeater. You know Defeater?
Oh God, they had that one band or that one song, like Waiting for it, like where there's a train coming and he's getting upset.
Yeah. So Defeater were the bands that did the whole album about the dude who wrote an album about his dad going off to war, but it wasn't a thing because he was writing from the perspective of his dad going off to war, but then it wasn't real because he was just writing it from the perspective. But anyway, that was weird.
I remember that. I remember that record. That was like 2008 or so that came out. 2000. Yeah.
So, emotional hardcore is a genre that I do not mind people referring to us as, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because firstly, we're emotional, yes. We're hardcore, yes. But emotional hardcore is kind of different. It's like a different thing.
Okay.
It's more of like a kind of, I don't know. Oh, Ben, I'm finding it hard to explain like what that is, unless you know like what that genre is, I guess.
Does it differ? Like, you know, 'cause, when I was younger and I knew less, like a lot of the bands that I would consider emotional hardcore, they were very emotionally charged. What it's called post-hardcore, like Glassjaw was an emotional.
Yeah. It's like we have like quiet bits though, so it's kind of hard to like.
It's not that anymore. Like who
right
as being like emo core or emotional hardcore or like Glassjaw and fucking Poison the Well and Botch.
Yeah, that was my shit when I was 15.
Sure, they're now by today's standards, they're just metalcore, right?
Right.
Or mathcore. But in order to be like considered like emotional hardcore, you have to have like extensive sort of like emotional or melodic section.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the melody. It's the melodic thing.
I don't think we have that, so it's weird to be compared to that stuff. I guess when there are bands like, I don't know, like Defeater, who I love. I actually really love Defeater, but their music is so different to ours. It's like their music, all of their music is written from the perspective of someone who, like, who is waiting for someone to come back from the war. And that fucking baffles me because we never saw that.
It's really hard to like put a label on like your music. Like it's so hard to just be like, I think we like discussed it, but I think maybe like back in the day someone might have like mentioned like, oh, it's like emotional hardcore. We're like, all right, yeah, fine, that'll do. You know, because even like with the album we're writing now, where we're trying to like experiment with so many weird things. So like, like what kind of label do you want to even put on this? Because you know, we're all quite older now, so we're just trying to do something like different, and like the ideas are like, oh, this would be weird, this would be freaky, but let's put it in. So it's like, what are you going to tag us as? You know, experimental? I don't know. You know, so
we've never done that. Lewis. Like, we've never had a genre. We've never made it for people to be like, this is what that is. So
no, not at all.
That's why it's
Not
fun.
It's fun. It keeps it fun, yeah. Because you can write a song and it's like a certain thing, and then you load and you like, we're doing some recording at the moment just on laptop, you know, just to like get some ideas down, like skeletons of songs, you know. And it's like we load up one file, do a bit of work on it, and then the other file is like completely different, you know. Obviously it's still like metal and it's still like hardcore, but it's not like we're trying to hit a melodic, we're not trying to create melodic hardcore, we're just like, oh, this sounds cool, this is fun, you know, like, yeah.
You're not setting a rule. Yeah, no, because I think the second you have set parameters for what you're doing, you probably make it harder for any of it to be as good, even if everything ends up within a certain container. It becomes.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. For sure. I think like I always kind of think like, and you can say like, oh,
I don't know if there's
you're an idiot. Yeah, you're an idiot. But
said something silly. Sorry, I know that there was a delay.
I'm delayed. I feel if we prescribed to a certain genre and we really rigidly stuck to that kind of writing, it would be like it would be more mainstream, and I feel like there might be more sales involved. What, like, who cares? But it's fun just to do what we find interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we find to be fun. Like, and obviously, like the guys, we go to the practice studio and the guys will play, and like just like Will and Sam are such good guitarists, and they'll just start playing for something that's really funny, and then we'll be like, no, that's just too basic. That's just too basic. I'm like, and it's like, yeah, I know. And obviously, we could like push it, you know, push out an album because it's like they're such good, they're so talented. Playing stuff.
Yeah,
we could do something like, and it's not, but like obviously, but like Sam is maybe one of the main kind of like, no, like this is like, I don't want to play this simple thing because I don't know, it's weird. Like we just feel we're not. It feels like sell out. It feels a bit.
Yeah.
It feels a bit too easy. It feels like, you know. But I don't know how other bands kind of feel about that. Like, oh, but like if you write a hook and the hook is really addictive and it's simple, I'm like, yeah, let's go. That's, you know, that's great. I don't want to stop having good things because like they're easy. But there's an element of like, can this be better? Can this be more interesting? You know.
No, of course. Like, I don't think enjoyable and simple is necessarily bad. You've got one of the, like in Impulse Crush, you've got that ridiculous breakdown, just like that screeching noise, and it's so good. It's so dumb in the best way. You know what I mean? Like, I love that because it's like, I remember being like 15 years old and hearing that sort of thing and thinking, oh, this is nuts. And I'm like, it's really cool that is ongoing, and it doesn't sound identical to everything else, but it's also familiar. Like, I love, you know, an ignorant song. I think if the whole thing is too cerebral, and you're suddenly Dream Theater or some shit, and I don't want to listen to that.
Dream Theater.
I mean, half.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was in a Between the Buried and Me worship band.
Yeah, I mean, half that song, kind of came via accident. You know, I think there's a chunk in the middle where we were playing in the practice room, and I think Will or someone, or maybe it was me, slipped a beat. You know, and it sounded like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
you know, and even we were doing some recording the other day, and like, what happens if we just push, like, I think Sam was recording and like mucked up, but it creates this nice like left right pan effect, and we were like, yeah, that's like, yeah, you know, so
carry on. Like, what happens if we?
Yeah. What happens if you don't stop? You just keep playing and
what happens if we carry on doing that, right? Like.
Yeah. Happy accidents.
Happy accident.
Bit Bob Ross. Yeah.
Very Bob Ross. Very Bob Ross.
Yeah, Bob Ross. Yeah. And also, it's quite nice to have like with Impulse Crush and the breakdown. It's just like, wah, wah. It's like that kind of like that stabbing noise. It's quite nice to do a song that's like a bit complex and it's got weird drum beats and it's got weird off kilter and it's got a time signature like missing a beat and stuff. And then at the end you get the payoff, which is like this kind of like more sort of like easy listening thing. And it's like I always feel like how I'm writing songs like you've sort of come through the battle.
I love Bob Ross.
You've come through the difficultness, and then you get the easy payoff, which is fun. I don't know.
And one of my favorite things is, for me personally, is to, like, for me, it was like finally having a song that we could record that sort of audially reflected just how annoying I am. That's it.
Just how annoying you are.
That's
it's just like this song is about annoying. Okay. But
yeah.
So you've mentioned that you're writing new songs, and it makes sense because I feel like anytime that we have a record come out, it's such a long process from writing to recording to releasing it that you've written something new in the meantime. What
I'm losing you, Ben.
We've lost you, Ben.
We lost you.
Come back,
I know what you said. Something about recording the album. Something about
Ben.
What are we doing?
Ben,
come back.
The entire press cycle is about things that are already.
Ben, come back. Ben.
We need you, Ben.
Ben, come back. Ben.
Your host. We need you.
You're.
Ben.
It's very robotic.
I know.
Oh no.
Ben.
Let me type.
Yeah, type to him. Well, we can answer the question. Ben, you are a robot.
Oh no. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, we lost him.
Ben.
Ben. Your stream has descended into Ben. This is yummy.
What have you got?
I've got an Ann Union unfiltered lager.
Oh, Ann Union! I love Ann Union.
I love Ann Union.
Yeah.
What's the beer now? He's back, and there's like 4 of us now. 2 Bens.
I have no idea what happened. I love that there's. Yeah,
there we go.
That was really bizarre. I'm so sorry. Apparently, my internet dropped entirely from my whole fucking apartment. It wasn't just my signal on it.
Nice.
But so my question that I had been trying to ask was, you recorded a record, and it takes a while to write the songs, record it, and then wait for it to be released. So by the time it's out, you're already possibly onto the next thing. And so you've spent like a year in a press cycle and supporting a record that you're already working on the next thing.
Right, exactly.
What's it like now to be writing a record during a pandemic, knowing that the promotional cycle and touring may be different?
Well, like, unfortunately, like, we haven't been able to meet up due to like restrictions, and like me and Sam were like, oh, we could do it online and stuff, and that just like did not materialize in any way, and it'd probably be like terrible if it did. But we had a writing session like a week ago, because now like the restrictions are lifted, so we can kind of pop round. And it was really good, and like it was just good. It was just like, and Sam has like bless him, has been writing during lockdown, has been like picking up his guitar and writing, and he has all these ideas bubbling, which is like it's like gold. It's amazing, and to hear Sam like play a track that he's like, oh, I've been working, and it's like, dude, this is sick, like so sick. And he's really open to like changes now. He's really open to us being like, no, this is crap. How about you do this? He's like, yeah, let's try that. And it's just been really, it was like, it was nice to see Sam, because I hadn't seen Sam for so long, but like just to like hear him play guitar and like, so talented, and his ideas, and he does a lot of drum beat writing too. So I think the way we work is he'll just like dictate a drum pattern, and I'm like, yeah, because I sit on the laptop, to do the techie stuff. And I'm like, yeah, put it in. And I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, I see what you're going for, and then we can all discuss like if it's good or bad, or we can change. But it's just a long process. But and also on top of this, we have like so many ideas about how we want to add like guest vocals and add bits and weird things and odd things that you don't expect. So like it's going to take time, because it's not like you can just throw that in randomly.
No, of course.
So like it's going to take time to get to where we're happy with it. It's going to take quite a while, but we're working on it. It's just
yeah. No, I'm excited to hear it. Especially, I forgot when I asked for a playlist for my website. I forgot that you guys sometimes DJ. So I got this massive thing, and it was so cool, because it's what my listening looks like a lot of times, because it's not all extreme. And I'm so grateful you included Bronski Beat Small Town Boy, like the greatest pop song ever.
Yeah. We do this thing when we're in the van on tour. We started this rule, because like basically the first few tours it was just like complete black metal, new metal, full on. And it was like, guys, like, I'm getting real sick and tired of like constant just blast beats. Like, I love blast beats, but it's just too much. And so we have this rule where when we make a playlist for the van, we do like one pop song, one like metal song, like back and forth. And that's like, it opens the world to like all the songs.
If you're putting a song on the band playlist, it has to be, if the last song's a metal song, you have to put a pop song and then a metal song. Or like, whatever. And the thing is, very loose interpretations of what pop and metal is, obviously.
They're broad concepts.
But you've got to like have the full-on metal and then have a track of chill, like a bit of like soul or something, just to like, okay, cool. And then you're back to like metal, and then you're back to like, and then you're like, oh no, cool, yeah, a bit of like whatever, 80s, like, cool,
Originally, we called it DJ Tofu.
DJ Tofu, which is my DJ name.
It was Lewis's DJ name, DJ Tofu. And then it ended up being DJ Threefu.
DJ Tofu? DJ Threefu.
DJ Tofu and Threefu
DJ Threefu is so expansive, there's no need to have a DJ Fourfu.
Yeah, and it got to a point where it's like, actually, what we need is to put real delicious pop tunes, and then really disgusting metal. And it got to the point where there were other bands who were joining us on tour who were like
adding stuff.
Right, well, yeah, but they were like so confused as to what was going on. So we had other bands joining us on tour who were like getting in the van and being like,
But it's like so interesting to have like another band join your tour in your van, and you're like, all right, here's the rules. The rules are it's metal and then it's pop, and like their minds are like, oh yeah, because everyone's got their favorite like pop tracks, 80s hits.
Yeah, of course.
So it's so nice to like see what their kind of interests are.
Well, because everyone has their own thing, like right, and like all of Ithaca know that I have a particular favorite pop track of all time, right? And it goes at the end. It goes at the end of every single playlist that I ever do.
What's that? Sledgehammer?
Okay.
No, not Sledgehammer. I love.
You love Sledgehammer.
I love Sledgehammer, but it goes at the end of like every like playlist that I do and stuff. FYI, for the record, it's "Call the Shots" by Girls Loud. So it goes at the end of like every like playlist that we do, and then we always like invite people on tour, and they're like, "What do you do? Like, what do we do? Like, like we do not understand how their playlist works."
Nah, but like, it takes about 5 seconds for them to like, oh yeah.
Fucking pop music is like
fucking pop music.
Yeah, it's not that strange. Like I feel like, it's been a very long time since I was in a metal band. But when we went on tour, it was each person got to take a turn playing their album of choice. So that we would, So, but I was always the person who was less interested in deathcore and was more. I was old. Like I was the only person that could legally drink in the band. Kind of.
What? Really?
And so I remember like going on tour, and it's like you're the one person who played. It was like All Shall Perish. Then it was Limp Bizkit. Then and then I played the fucking Talking Heads. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
Everyone likes my fucking Twitter status. Like,
I'm sorry.
Is that everyone liked my fucking Twitter status this week? Like All Shall Perish. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, All Shall Perish, I think, had just gone from being kind of like a small band to a big, like they had just, it was like 2008, maybe.
Yeah.
2009. So it was like they had just gone off. And I didn't know that was a big deal because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't have a computer or anything. I didn't have a phone. I was like one of those weirdos. So I just like had my CD collection and I'm like, oh, let's go on tour.
Yeah. Although we did start listening to a podcast. So the rules of the road changed. You got to be quick. You got to be on top of it. Yeah, exactly. And that's like, but like we were like, yeah, now we're on podcast now. That's what we're doing now.
And that's when
learning things whilst we drive.
That's when you've bonded enough to where you can all listen to a podcast on the same topic.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're all like, I think Sam put on the Dolly Parton podcast.
I've heard that's good. I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. We also had an audio book, The Room. I mean, Sam's the driver, so he's the one that gets access to the console. So
he's the only one that drives?
Yes. So we also listened to a podcast that was the entire audio book of the Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would fucking recommend because his impressions of him are so good.
So good, yeah.
There were like numerous times where I nearly wet myself because of his impressions of him. It was so fucking legit. Where we were like overnight driving through Germany, and I was like, I pissed myself. Like I can't help it. Like,
although on our last tour we had the amazing thing of 2 TVs in the van.
Nah.
Because we went for our Big Feast tour.
Yeah.
And so we had wrestling DVDs and King of the Hill, and that was like.
I never got my fucking Undertaker 6 DVD back.
Oh, Sam still got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My fucking 6 DVD.
If Sam's watching this, you need to give it back.
My 6 DVD of the Undertaker's. Yeah. Anyway, never mind. Ben, doesn't matter. I'll deal with it.
And who got you that DVD?
Shameful.
I got you.
birthday. Lewis
That was your
bought-
birthday present. The streak.
It was a streak. It was a streak. And it's like my favorite DVD that I own. So I have to get it back, right?
No, you need it back. That's shameful. Sam, this is a call out.
Yeah. Undertaker.
You got
Get it
DVD.
back. Get it back.
Give us the fucking shit
Yeah.
back.
Oh,
Okay.
we got a question here. Look at this.
Go on.
We've been asked if we can do our best Tommy Wiseau.
Oh no.
Tommy Wiseau.
Oh my god. No, I'll just like absolutely butcher it. I will absolutely butcher it.
Yeah, I'll also say it's unfair. It's unfair to ask two English people and a person who is not, because he's Polish. Like that's a hard thing.
Oh, how's he do it? How's he do it?
Good, Ben.
I'm really bad at accents, like regardless, so I don't think I should even bother.
Yeah, I feel like we're about to enter territory of like accidental racism if we try to do this.
Yeah, it's dicey. It's so dicey.
I do a Tommy Wiseau.
Go on,
I
Bill.
want to hear you do it.
Go on,
No,
Bills.
I do Tommy Wiseau. I'm basically racist, right? Because I'm like, oh hi, Mark. Like,
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah.
hi,
That's like, oh, hi, Mark.
That's an easy one. Yeah, you guys got that. That's fine.
I did not do it. Like, it's
I
very
did not.
I did
That's just the room. I did not. Oh, hi, doggy. Oh,
Yeah,
hi.
I like it. Oh, hi, doggy is the best.
Oh, hi, doggy. Lisa, you're tearing me apart. Like, that's like what I
Oh, hi,
could do.
Dad.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Lisa, you tearing me apart.
Lisa.
Did you
Oh,
see?
hi, Dad.
There was like a short-lived thing where I think he like on YouTube maybe he was abducted by an alien and he would review video games.
What?
Yeah, but my favorite he said he was like, he's like, oh, I was just enjoying my good egg breakfast and I have been taken, and it was just like
That's a pretty good impression.
he is like, you're eating your egg breakfast and you've been taken by an alien, like
I just make it
Your
really,
egg breakfast.
I
Yeah.
just want to make it really clear for anyone who is like wanting to do any of us to do like any sort of like The Room kind of shit. Last year, I went to see The Room on my birthday, and my best friend bought us tickets to go and watch The Room at the Prince Charles Cinema,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is famous for doing The Room and stuff. And everyone does the thing. Everyone throws the spoons. It's like the thing. And at the time, they did a Q&A. So we're both there. And it was amazing. It was fucking amazing. They were both there. They did like, Tommy Wiseau was there. They did like a Q&A. It was beautiful.
oh,
And I didn't ask him a question because I was firstly fucking hammered. So
Yeah. What would you have asked him if you had the chance?
what I was gonna say, know your limits, bruv. Know your limits. I was drunk.
I'd be like, why two cameras?
Right.
Why?
No,
Why
my-
did you use two cameras to film the same scene?
Would have been what the fuck is up with the picture frames, brethren?
Yeah. Like, it would have been why did you choose the green screen New York when you have access to a New York skyline?
Right. So what basically happened is that everyone asked him all these questions, and it was amazing, and it was the best fucking thing ever. I tried to buy some The Room merch, basically,
Some Tommy Wiseau underpants.
during the break, but I had like no money. I was fucking broke. I was so skint. Anyway, afterwards, everyone left, and then we sort of came out into the foyer of the cinema theater afterwards, and he came out, and I was like losing my mind a little bit, and at this point, I was so drunk. So I was like, dude, it's Tommy Wiseau. Tommy Wiseau. Like, I was losing my mind. And I went up to him and I went to him, you're Tommy Wiseau.
You told him that. You told him who he was.
You're Tommy Wiseau. And he went to me, I know. And I was like, yes, good. And I went, do you know who I am? And he went, no. I went, okay, cool, good.
This close-up is too much.
I appreciate the close.
This my fucking my camera's red. No.
I'm trying to tell a story. So he went, no. And I went, okay, fine. And I went, look, I'm a really big fan of yours. It's my birthday. I don't want to be that person, but it's my birthday.
It, though. It's good. It's powerful to say it's your birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday. My friend brought me here for your show. And we watched your Q&A and all this kind of stuff. And blah, blah, blah. And he was like, he literally, in the most, honestly, everything you've heard about Tommy Wiseau is true. I went to him, it's my birthday, and my friend brought me here for your birthday. I just sort of told him. And he looked at me and went, okay, so what do you want?
That's a good impression.
What did you want?
What happened next?
I think Tommy Wiseau just gave her a stare down.
Bruv, what do you say to that? I was like, okay. So I said to him, it's my birthday. So he said, okay.
Okay, what you want?
I would ask him to come hang out with me.
Happy birthday?
So I was like, yeah, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. So fucking come party, innit? Come party. And he was like, no, he literally, I said, it's my birthday, come party. And he went, I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
Obviously.
Anymore.
Yeah, and I fucking died of death. I melted into the floor and was like, do you know what? It doesn't matter what happens ever. This is the greatest day of my life. Because I asked Tommy Wiseau to come and party with me for my birthday, and he told me he wasn't allowed to do that anymore. And I care about what happens after that. This is the best day of my life. Basically, like, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. I was like, yes!
You got what you needed. You didn't know that was what you needed.
So good!
Oh my god. We've been chatting some shit for 2 hours. Oh my god.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Did you see this? We had a viewer, he suggested a bunch of Ithaca signature beers.
Oh, which one?
Oh.
So we got the Language of Gingery ginger beer.
Language of Gingery. Oh yeah.
Bitter Abuse IPA.
Bitter Abuse.
Impulse Sour Crush.
Oh, that's nice.
Wait, what's it again?
Impulse Sour Crush.
I love that.
Slow negative.
And Wit Beer and Wayne.
Wait, did someone say slow negative water?
Yeah.
That's the one. Slow negative porter is the one.
So you've got to get your employer to make these, Jamila.
You know what? It would not be hard.
Good, because I'm expecting.
Can I get a job?
Yeah.
Making beers.
Good. Let's get some jobs.
Yeah. Well, so basically, when we were having our album release, right? I was thinking to do a beer for us.
Oh yeah. Come on.
Well, yeah, but it didn't end up happening because the stress of
the actual thing, the actual album.
Yeah.
It turns out the stress of releasing an album
was quite enough.
Was enough. But
next time,
the people that I work with and my brewers and stuff have repeatedly said to me many times if we wanted to release a beer for us. That was to do with, to do with anything or to do with like.
Let's do it.
It's time.
Yeah,
It's
they
time.
would do it. They would tell you do it, and obviously like with the obviously it's not the same thing, but like with like the wedding and stuff, they would do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Banging.
They would do that too.
You're getting a wedding beer made?
Yeah. We'll totally have a
Good.
wedding.
I cannot wait for your wedding. It's going to be like the best night. Cannot wait.
Everyone keeps saying that to me.
Yeah, you've got so much to live up
So
to.
I gotta ask.
Go on.
So you not everybody knows, but you got a KoRn engagement.
Yeah.
You're in lockdown and you got engaged. And so for one, that's amazing because most people I know seem to decide that they want to kill their partner during
Oh, there we
instead
go.
of
Bling,
the
bling.
opposite. But also,
You
bling
got to
bling.
do the. You got
But
that build.
also-
You have to do the. You have to do the. Hey. Like showing it off. Like, oh yeah. Whoa!
You've,
Whoa, Mills. Too much. Too much.
that-
There's like
too
OnlyFans,
much.
Mills. Jesus. Oh God.
we don't need that.
Avert.
But that's also Tony must be behind the camera right now.
He's on his way home. He's not home yet, but yeah.
Oh, because I was gonna ask a question, but Tony has to help answer it. So that's good to know. Fucking Tony.
He's on his way
An important
home.
part of this. Good. But with your engagement, a lot of the songs you've sung about some very dark, tortured emotions.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have love songs on the next record now that you're engaged?
No.
Thank
No.
goodness.
No.
So you've got enough resentment. You're already sick of his shit. You've got enough to say about that.
Well, yes, because the thing is, the past couple of records, obviously, have been very personal records. And I just think, like, yes, you can have nice things happen to you, and like me, you can get engaged and do all this fun stuff, and like like marry like the love of your life and all that kind of shit. But
All that kind of shit.
Oh, that shit.
yeah, but it never negates the pain.
Of course.
So I don't know if that's like a petty thing that people think is petty, but
Wow.
I will never stop writing about my pain, whether people think I deserve to or not, because it is always going to be something that affects me, and it's always going to be something that like really like sort of touches me and affects me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fucking matter whether I'm engaged or I'm married or whatever.
Yeah.
And Tony knows, like my partner knows that.
Yeah.
He is so wonderfully there for me, that he knows that like my pain is something that I share. He gets that. He knows that I need to share that. Like, I will always have to do that, basically. So, I don't know, like, and then even when it gets to a point where it's like, ooh, you got married, and what do you have to be sad about anymore? Like,
Yeah.
I will always fucking have shit to be sad about, because,
Of course.
firstly, I'm a woman. Tell me what I'm not allowed to be sad about. I'm a woman. Secondly,
Right.
I'm not going there.
well, yeah, exactly. Secondly, I'm a fucking abuse victim. I'm a survivor. I will. Yes, okay, fine. I got lucky, and the love of my life, I get to marry, which is amazing. Like, he's such an idiot. I get to marry him, but it doesn't change the fact that the main source of my inspiration every day is my pain.
Yeah.
That's my pain every day, and it doesn't matter whether you get married, you do this, you do that, you do whatever, like, fucking whatever. Like, if you're a survivor, you're a survivor is basically what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying
100%.
No, for long, dude.
you can never sort of what I'm saying is you can never judge people about what they have the right to write about, because they will always, maybe people have a perspective that you don't have, I think, is what I'm saying. I don't know. It's hard to talk about without
And I'm sorry I framed that in a joking way. Obviously, I know
no, it's okay.
There's like an immense weight behind all of that. But I also, I think there's this weird expectation, because I've the last few years, after dating a lot of abusive people and people who are terrible to me, I've lived with who I will say is the love of my life for the last almost 4 years now. I've still got I'm immensely fucked up and unhappy in all sorts of ways that have nothing to do with the goodness in my life, because you're still stuck with you and what you've been through. So, it's I will say it's great to see you happy. I like seeing that. I like when you share your joy, but it's also, it's interesting thinking that people assume that the context for your art will change, as if you've suddenly not been yourself.
So you ever have that friend who somehow always manages to, like, date your mate who's in a band, or date someone who's in a band, or is always dating someone who's in a band, or always manages to be dating someone who's like a sound tech or in a band or a promoter, or that person who's always fucking dating someone in the scene, right?
Yeah.
That's me. Always. And it got to a point where, not even in like a bad way at all, but my band said to me, think about what you're doing. Because it got to a point where I really began to impact myself with what I was doing. And it wasn't anything bad ever. And it was never a reflection on me, but it was very much a reflection on them.
Yeah.
And it was hard to then turn around and be like, do you know what? You're right. Like, this is very much a reflection on all of the shit men that I've dated. And this is what I say, like, I'm so thankful for my band, always.
Yeah.
People always take the piss out of us because we're so nice to each other.
Yeah, we are nice to each other.
We're so nice to each other. Everyone's like, you're so nice to each other. Why do you not hate each other? We love each other. My band has looked out for me in ways that no one else ever has. Like, honestly. And we're like family in ways that no one else is.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been in situations where they've like not guided me, but been like, hey, and I've taken their advice in Yeah, I mean, yeah. I
You
mean,
know. No, we love
know.
you. We love you so much. We love it. We all, you know.
Because I'm the only woman. That's the thing. Like, I have been for 10 years the only
Mate,
girl amongst 5 men. And
Mills, you're more laddie than all of us combined.
why
Yeah,
not?
you're a lad.
You're
But,
more of a fucking bruiser than all of us combined. So,
yeah,
you know.
that's what I'm trying to say is that, like, I'm really lucky because what I have is like a culture of family where you look after me more than anyone else does,
Of course, always.
which is like a beautiful thing. And people always say to us like, "You are so nice to each other. You're beyond nice to each other. Bands aren't supposed to be this nice to each other." Like, and we genuinely love and adore each other. Like we do. It's stupid. We do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it should be. It shouldn't
we
be
should be
fucking
though.
good.
Should be nasty.
Yeah.
There have been times where bands have been like, "Oh, you are really nice to each other," and you know, because their default is to, you know, I don't know. We sort of like, hey, we give as hard as we get. We're pretty like full on sometimes.
Like you know when you like go on tour with a band, right?
Yeah.
We've been on tour with so many bands who at that point are like fucking.
Get fighting.
They do not care. Like, in case anyone's wondering what I'm doing, I'm swiping in front of the camera to signify me beating the shit out of everyone.
Wow.
They do not care. They don't care about the bandmates. They don't care about what happened. And the amount of tours that we've been on where people have been like, why do you like each other? Why do you care about each other?
Like, why the fuck wouldn't you? What's the point if you
But
don't?
it seems odd. Yeah, it always seems odd that like, why is that a thing? Like, why is that got to be said? Like, it should be standard that you enjoy being with each other. You know?
Right.
Otherwise, don't do it.
Don't bother. Just quit. You know.
You get to a certain amount of time where people get used to not being friends with the people they're in a band with anymore. And I think that people get used to being like, there's a certain expectation. Like, you get to a certain level of fame, right? A certain level of fame where you don't have to be friends with people anymore. That's your job. Like, that's your job. Your job is to turn up and play drums. Your job is to play bass. Your job is to do blah, blah, blah. But with us, right? With us, we turn up and I cry in front of Lewis because his hair is longer than I used to.
Lockdown locks, mate. Lockdown locks.
You got lovely looks.
And then he tells me that it's okay. And then I cry. And then he cries. And then we go to Wetherspoons and we do a fruit thing in the pub. And then we win £10. And then we drink some ale.
And we're all good.
And
I've got to log off, Ben.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, enjoy
Thank you for
Mills.
being here, Lewis.
Thank you so much, dude.
I love you.
Love you too, dude.
I love you.
Right. We lost to Lewis, but
we lost Lewis.
Maybe we'll gain Tony and the Ham soon.
We will, yeah. They're on their way home, so yeah.
Wonderful. Does he take the Ham with him to work?
Yeah.
Shameful. He's keeping her from you.
Sometimes. I mean, he mainly works from home. He mainly works from home, so you say take to work, but whatever that means.
No, that's good. And I will be right back. I have to get another one of these and use the restroom because I've been drinking so many of these.
Let's do it. I have to pee.
There we go. See you in a minute.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so I'm hearing noises, so I am back.
Yes,
And- Hmm. Hearing something. Don't know what that was. Hello.
hello. We're back.
So we're back. Everybody has done the necessary business. We're down to Lewis, which is a shame. I had some good questions for him, and he's just like, "Oh, I've got to go to bed."
I know. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. He's responsible in a way that I'm not.
He is responsible in a way that I've never been. So he knows. If you ask any member of my band, I actually am I feel really touched that Lewis would be part of this thing tonight, because they all know that I'm like such an asshole that anyone that's like willing to be part of anything with me on a Friday night is like in the danger zone, basically.
Yeah. I don't.
That's cute.
So that's the true danger in music.
Yes, allegedly.
You know, if we're talking about dangerous bands, apparently being in a band with you is the danger.
So I've heard.
So I've decided to switch from alcohol to Gatorade for a minute.
I was gonna say, like, you're on a fucking Gatorade.
I'm gonna Gatorade and lots of water. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so.
Me either, actually.
Oh no wonder it hit you so hard. They had free drinks at work, and you're doing better than I'd be doing.
Yeah, so I work for a brewery, and today, my glorious overlord, my boss said to us, do you know what? Let's have a half day, which is lovely, and we'll go down to the new brewery tap room type thing. So we just opened a new tap room. It's beautiful. It's the biggest socially distanced beer garden in the UK.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. So we responded very quickly to all this stuff. So I went down there today and had a bunch of beers. And the good thing about it being a socially distanced beer garden is that you can't go to the bar, basically. Hello! Hi! Hi! Hi, baby!
And there's a love of your life, the ham.
The love of my life! Wait, you just come home. Hey, Papa!
That look.
Look! Hey!
And that means Tony must be home as well.
Yeah.
Hi, Ham. Oh, she looks happy.
Hello, you alright?
Hello. Hey, we had Lewis here for a while, but he just had to leave, so you're right on time.
Well, Tony can come and join us, but Lulu, it's your birthday.
It's Lulu's day. I know. What a lucky day it is. It's Lulu's anniversary with you.
It's Lulu's anniversary. I was going to say, it's Lulu's anniversary. It's her birthday anniversary with us. So she is disgusting, and she smells like shit right now. So
has she gotten to eat anything special today? I know that's her thing, is eating.
Well, I was going to say no, because her thing is eating everything always. So how do you reward a dog, or how do you celebrate a dog that fucking eats everything always?
Don't let them eat it. I don't know.
Go on.
Give them something truly special.
It's me.
Yes, you may have it. Lulu, say hi to Ben. Oh, say hi to Ben. There you go.
Hi, Lulu.
There you go.
Hey. Oh, it's good to see you. Oh, she's so clueless. I love it.
Yeah.
She's so good. She's so good.
She's gone to drink some water, but
She should.
She is honestly, hands down, a fucking disgusting fat piece of shit. And I say that as an extremely loving mother. I have never had a year as stinky as this.
And you said you've dated guys in bands and you've never had such a stinky year. That's saying something.
I dated dudes in black metal bands.
So she's on another level. Wow. My condolences, but also it seems like a very loving year. So
I dated dudes in black metal bands, but yet she
smells worse.
outdone everyone in regards to like the stinkiest and like fucking most disgusting. But I feel like she actually deserves accolades because at least she tells you, you know. Whereas if you date a dude who's into black metal, they'll never let you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here you go.
He's actually yelling at her now.
No, she's trying to dig.
Okay, fine. Anyway, Tony, say hi.
Hi, Tony. So
Here we go.
it's good to see you in motion. I've never
There we go. There he is.
had the honor.
We
hello.
We would have been here a little bit earlier, but what my mate refused. Oh, are we glitching?
You know you're good.
No, what my mate didn't tell me was he lived about 2.5 miles away from the tube station, and on the way back she did not want to walk, and I literally had to pick her up because some weird dude was just kind of following us and just shouting.
What? Trying to follow you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
no, you did the right thing. No judgment here. You know, as you can see, it's Friday night. Who gives a fuck? You know.
We're good.
So
now,
you've arrived, and we can talk about the most important topic of the night. I mean, you know, to hell with everything else. We are going to solve once and for all the question of which is the most important record by the band KoRn.
It's Issues.
So it's Issues. Tell us your reasoning before Jamila jumps in. Why is it Issues?
No, Ben, can I just say?
What is it?
You see this?
Yes, yeah. Tony
We're
gave
not
that.
fucking married yet, and I'm willing to fucking fuck him off because we have this argument so often. How can you ask someone to marry you when you don't agree on the best KoRn album? I hate him. I fucking hate him. Just have him. Take him from me. I hate him. He's the worst.
I'm on the wrong continent. I can't take him.
Sorry,
Please do.
You haven't even given us an answer, Jamila. What is it then?
You say.
She thinks it's Follow the Leader.
Okay. So those are.
Hang on.
What's the rationale?
Hang on. The part of my issue, right?
Issues.
Yeah.
Part of your issues.
No. Part of my issue. Where's my phone? Did you have my phone?
No.
Where's my phone gone?
It's over there.
Where?
By the alligators.
The alligators. No, where is it? Oh, okay. So we have this thing where, you know how I'm like a massive Croc fan, right? So I wear Crocs all the time.
Yeah. You're very the best, most comfortable footwear imaginable.
Exactly. So I bought some for Tony, but his feet are so fucking big that we refer to them as the alligators now because they're so large. But like I routinely trip over them in like hallways and stuff because they're disgusting. Talk to Ben whilst I do this.
So why have we decided why is Issues the best KoRn record?
For me, I think it's just got the best songs. It's got the best flow. I will be totally honest. I haven't properly listened to any KoRn record between Issues and The Nothing.
That's why you're the worst.
Wow.
But
Give me a lighter.
The Nothing's great, and I mean, maybe there's some good records in there somewhere. I just haven't given myself the time to digest them. But for me, like growing up, I mean, like the first KoRn record's great. First one I listened to, Follow the Leader, and like there's some great songs on Follow the Leader. I just don't think it really works as a whole album. It's too stop-start. There's too much crap on it, and like there's that really cringe-worthy track where it's just him and Fred Durst kind of trash talking each other.
You got like the minute of silence.
All in Family? Are you talking about All in Family?
Yes.
You shut your whole mouth.
All right. And so, Jamila, what is your argument in favor of Follow the Leader, which we're being told is a less consistent record? She's looking up evidence on the internet for this?
Yeah.
Are you going to play us a song?
I'm not looking up evidence.
Oh,
I'm not looking
God,
up.
it must have been a long night for you.
I'm not looking up evidence. Okay.
So she was given free drinks. They had a half day at work and they had free beer. So,
I'm drunk as fuck.
you got a head start on me. I would have started drinking before had I known, because I've only had a couple light beers, but
Fortunately, there's a 24-hour off license around the corner, so I think we'll be all right forward. So my wholesome night of eating pizza and watching old pop videos has gone to hell.
You do that.
So
Tony's whole night is like getting drunk and watching Girls Loud videos and having a wank.
I mean, Girls Aloud wrote the best of the so.
True facts. I will not disagree with that.
So Jamila, no argument. Just it's a fact that Follow the Leader is the best, and you don't have to back it up. No argument for that.
No.
All right. Well, so I had a couple of. I was torn between two. In order to prove.
Yeah, what's your opinion? Then give me your opinion.
I'm sorry.
What is your opinion on the best KoRn album? Because I want to know.
Because I had two that I was torn between, and I was afraid that if I agreed with one of you and not the other, that I would be seen as choosing it in the moment. So I wrote it down before this. I'll wait for returns that you can see. But so I picked a record that to me was an embodiment of it didn't have any songs that I thought were outright embarrassing, and it may not even have their best songs at all times, but it was one that
yes,
I felt had a good flow. So in fact, I will just show it. I had written down here.
Oh my god! Really?
Which I was torn between that and Issues, simply because even though Follow the Leader was my intro, I know I'm criminal too, I'm wrong, but Follow the Leader had a couple of songs that just made me terribly uncomfortable. All in the Family being one of them. I loved it when I was 11, but it, past the age of about 13, it didn't sit.
Okay, so that is so interesting. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Is it that it makes you think that gives that your favorite album by them?
Sorry, I missed it.
So I'd written on a sheet of paper in case I agreed with somebody. I didn't want to be seen as playing favorites. It's Untouchables for me.
Okay.
Which
so can I just say we love the album.
Yeah.
That's not the record that's the cause of our divorce.
Yeah.
It's because we love that album. Like we fucking love that album.
Yeah.
So
the funny
that's
thing
amazing.
The funny thing about that album is, because I mean, it was so highly anticipated. Really, really enjoyed it when it came out. But the funny thing about it was when they premiered Here to Stay in the UK, it was on MTV2.
Yes.
And they played it on repeat for an entire hour from midnight.
Weird.
Yeah, so it's like I stayed up until midnight and watched it about 3 or 4 times. And I was just like, yeah, this is great. I think we even recorded it and then just went to school like the next day and we're like, yeah, quarterback.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love Untouchables. I love Untouchables. So
you know, because like like a lot of people our age, you know, Follow the Leader was the first one that I was really the right age for it. Like, you know, Freak on a Leash was on the radio, and I was very excited by it. But you know, it had the songs like All in the Family, and there were a couple others. You know, like I grew up in a household where violence was a common solution to problems. I will say is a nice way of putting it. So
yeah,
songs like The Leader sometimes touched a little too close to home. Like that song "Pretty," I really liked, but it was like, it's uncomfortable. There was a lot of emotional weight there, but it didn't sit as well. Issues definitely I had fewer qualms with in terms of like, you know, I could sit with it. I mean, it had fucking Somebody Someone, you know, like what a song. You know, it had a lot, but then it also had shit like Let's Get This Party Started, which again I loved it when I was younger, but not as much later on. Whereas Untouchables, not every song was their best, but nothing on it felt so dated when I look back on it. It felt like a real strong statement of who they had been and who they wanted to be, but it didn't. I think because by that point there was no new burgeoning trend. They were the leaders of the trend. They had already established themselves as such, and they didn't have to pander to anything with it. Whereas I think everything at that point they had been trying to fit into something else. And
so
everything, like when they did that fucking dubstep stuff, like
you don't have that.
No.
Okay. So for us, we have this fight all the time, which is a well-known fight that we have all the time. Because despite the fact that we're engaged, we hate each other purely based on the best KoRn album. We will never agree on this, and I feel like this is the reason that maybe we'll perhaps never get married.
Oh yeah, but
we never agree on the best KoRn album, and it's so stressful. It's so stressful, and I mean, you go because I want you to talk about your opinion, and then I want to be able to shit on you. So go.
But before he does, perhaps, like, you know, I want to see this love thrive. Could you agree maybe that like your first dance could be to like Dead Bodies Everywhere or something, which is, you know, you can't fuck. It's good enough.
We've already decided that the first dance would be from something from the Bob's Burgers soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, that's better. That's better.
So, if you want to know, if anyone wants to know for some reason, our first ever date, our first date when we first met, was at a Piss Jeans show. So,
well, that's second.
It doesn't make for as good. Maybe it's not as good of a story. Let her have it.
Our second date, our first date was at a Piss Jeans show. Our second date, so he texted me, right, and was like, look, I have tickets. I have VIP tickets to the show. Do you want to come? Do you want to come and have VIP tickets to see Insane Clown Posse? So I was like, yes. Yes! And that was basically how I knew he was the one, you know.
Wow.
When we, when people get married and they say I do, ours was just going to be whoop whoop.
Yeah. Well, no, it was actually when we got hit with the Fago cannon.
The Fago cannon. They have a cannon. Like Guar has the fake dick cannon. They have a Fago cannon.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. Oh, in the UK, they did.
The worst thing about it, and it's quite a bad story actually.
Okay.
It's at a venue in London called
Electric Ballroom,
and it was completely packed out with like all these massive juggalos. And I just said to the promoter, like, look, I'd like to see it, but like they're all way bigger than me. Is there anywhere quiet? And they're like, yeah, go to the disabled area. It's like, fine, is that okay? And there wasn't too many.
Yeah, there was no one in the disabled area.
Up anyone's space. We were just standing at the back. they were literally launching these bottles of
Yeah.
Fago into these people in wheelchairs, and we were just like, "Oh my god,
So
what's going on?"
So basically, we were stood in where the disabled area was because we were like, "Can we sit here?" And they said yes. And there were like 1 or 2 disabled or not able-bodied juggalos, and they knew that we were here. And it was where the disabled area was where it normally is for any show, which was just behind the sound desk, like that.
Yes, you get the best experience, really.
Exactly, yeah, where the sound desk is. Like, they always do that. It's like where the sound desk is. So you can have, like, the best view. So we stood there, and Insane Clown Posse launched all of the Fago cannons straight into that. They used that as like an aim and like launched straight into it. And we were like, we died basically. We were like,
but the people that got hit, they loved it.
Yeah.
They kind of like, yeah, what?
What I was going to say is that all of the disabled people in that area who firstly got hit by the Fago cannons loved every single minute. They were like, they really appreciated being made a target. So we couldn't say anything. We were like, this is actually sick. Like,
they were being involved.
Yeah, exactly. So they loved it. And we were like, bearing in mind, it was me and Tony's second ever date. I was like, Ben, I was so drunk. I was so I was so drunk. I was like, is it okay for me to be enjoying this right now? I have no idea. Because he had called me at the end of my shift at work, right?
So he just ran off from work to do this.
Yeah. So he called me at the end of my shift at work, and I worked in the area in Camden, and he went, do you want to come and see? Really casual. Hey girl, you want to come and see Insane Clown Posse? And I was like, all right. Inside, obviously, I was screaming.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. So this is like how bad it was. I went to the fucking pharmacy. Is that what you call it? Where you are?
Yeah, they have pharmacies here.
Yeah, I went to the pharmacy. I spent $50 on makeup.
Oh, you went all out.
Oh yeah, because I didn't have any makeup with me. And I wasn't expecting an invite that night. I spent $50 on makeup, right? So I was like, okay, fine. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I spent fucking $50 on makeup. And then got myself looking like fucking, pretty. Went in there. For every single girl in there to be like, you look like shit.
Oh yeah, because you didn't have the clown makeup, and
I wasn't a fucking juggalo, which is the weirdest thing in the world.
We've been told
the only time I've ever been in a fucking music venue in London and had everyone look at me and be like,
"What about the big feature?"
Sounds like you got another story here.
No, that wasn't. I've got a funny story about.
That's rude. That was rude.
No,
that was rude.
We got a comment from one of our viewers here. It's that's a juggalo baptism. I'm assuming into the canon.
The canon, yeah. I mean, it was beautiful, and we got baptized with Fago in a way that I never thought that I would, and I have never been the same since. Like,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that like my titties grew like 3 sizes, and Tony's dick was like, woo, like that was it. We were like, yeah, fine.
It gave me closure as well. I had an ex that cheated on me at an Insane Clown Posse show.
Really?
With a juggalo.
Who? Which one was that?
I've seen a bit. I'm not outing someone. She might be watching.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. This is recorded.
This was kind of funny because she went to the show and then she came back, told me that she cheated on me. The worst thing was, well, she didn't. Well, she made out with a juggalo.
With bags.
But I don't know where we come. She made out with a dude at the show. But the thing that made it worse is he got all his juggalo makeup on the jumper that I bought her for Christmas that cost me like £50 and it was completely wrecked. And I was like,
So in finding love at the Insane Clown Posse show, it came full circle and you found peace.
Yeah, exactly.
I had never heard them until like last year, and we watched a documentary about them this year where there was an English couple that flew from England to the United States just to go to the gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah, and they got that a lot. Yeah,
and they got married at the gathering of the Juggalos by the larger of the two. I forget his name. I'm not well enough versed, but he officiated their wedding. He was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, and they sprayed them with Faygo to signify their holy matrimony.
Exactly. Yeah,
Is this the one that looks like the kind of Guy Fieri one?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I forget the two. I know one is Shaggy.
There's Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J, but I don't know which one.
I don't know which is which.
Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J, like they're both, you know.
But the one of them that's more Guy Fieri-esque officiated a wedding, and it was. But I love it. It was.
That's Violent J.
What was that?
Is it the big one?
Yes. No, that's Shaggy 2 Dope. Sorry, Shaggy 2 Dope is the big dude.
Okay.
Violent J is a skinny dude.
I'm learning so much today.
I'm trying to remember like all of the names for the sisters in Haim.
I wouldn't know any of them.
Yeah, same.
You should listen to the new record. Though. It's really good.
Is it good? I'll have to look at it. I'm enjoying Lulu's ass behind you right now.
The new Haim album is boring as fuck.
Look, no, we've got to dig in.
Look.
She's digging. Have a little. Wait.
Tennessee.
Go on, do it. Her digging is the best thing ever. Oh,
I love it. She's good. You're real lucky.
She's so good.
I really want a pet, but it's just not feasible. But like, also, I think I've realized I have unrealistic pet goals because like, if I got a pet, I would just want it to be like Paddington, like, and that's not really how having a pet goes. You don't get a little bear.
So we talk about how good Paddington is, right?
Yeah. I haven't seen the first Paddington film because I didn't even know it existed. But Paddington 2, I fucking cried.
Right.
It's wrong. He's so good. He is goodness embodied. And also in the very first scene, like you've got like the little bear dangling over a river off a bridge. Like it's not right. I realized that like I just want Paddington as my pet, and that's not really realistic.
First one.
I'm sorry?
You've not seen the first one?
No. I haven't had the fortune yet. I'm saving for a day when I'm really sad.
But okay, fine. You've not seen the first one. That's fine. But the fact that you appreciate Paddington is amazing, and his Twitter is like. His Twitter.
Yeah.
Well,
I've shown you Paddington's Twitter, right?
Well, when you're over in the UK, we'll take you to Paddington Station. They've got a great.
Yeah.
I want to go so badly.
You want to go? We go to Paddington Station all the time.
Connections.
That's good. One of my best friends who like lives here in New York grew up in Devon, and so he's.
Whereabouts?
I'm sorry?
You know whereabouts in Devon?
Yeah, Devon.
Somewhere very small. I know that when he was in bands like 20 years ago, he would play at the Exeter, at the fucking
The cabin.
the cave,
The cabin.
The cabin.
cavern. Yeah, but I mean, we're talking in the late 90s. But yeah, I mean, he's from a very small town in Devon.
I mean, actual Devon. Okay.
He's told me he will show me the Paddingtons. He wants to take us there and show us where he's from.
Right. Sure.
I'm holding him to it.
No, but you can't see real Paddington unless you're in London, right? Because the real Paddington is in London. Obviously,
well, that's what I'm saying. He lived in, like anybody with an interest in culture. You get the fuck out of your small town and move to the city. I think he moved to London when he was 17.
Okay, so he gets it.
Yeah, so he wanted to, but he knows where the Paddingtons are. Because aren't there two? There's a new one now. There's like one on a little park bench somewhere having a sandwich.
What, the Paddington?
Yeah, there's a new Paddington statue.
Yes, there is. Yeah, but he's not like the real Paddington, right? Like he's kind of.
It's like the movie Paddington.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good way of putting it, because when we were kids, I'm shuffling over.
You're right.
When we were kids, Paddington was like Paddington.
Yeah, it was the books. I mean, I read the books too.
Yeah, exactly. It was the books. So there was no statue or anything. It was just the books, but obviously there was Paddington Station, which we all knew about. Paddington Station, and there was Paddington Bear at Paddington Station, obviously, which we all knew about. But it was like, whatever, and nothing ever sort of came of it. And we all just did like 40, 50 years of like Paddington.
Yeah.
He's an English sort of stalwart of amazing storytelling. Like, no one ever thinks about Paddington, which is like,
that's wrong.
The main compliment. The main compliment. No one ever thinks about Paddington, right?
Yeah.
And then you're used to the stories and the like it being around and stuff, and you're used to like the stories around you, and the moment anyone says like Paddington, you're like, yes, like you get it, like you know exactly what it is, like you're like, oh, duffel coat, like yeah, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And you know that takes up like a certain amount of space. It's like a duffel coat, and in the winter, if you buy a duffel coat, everyone's like Paddington.
Yeah,
I've got a duffel coat.
Right, exactly. And the same as me. If you buy if you have a like a yellow like plaid scarf, everyone's like Paddington.
Yeah, I mean he's an icon, so that's something to.
Yeah. Well, any plaid scarf, everyone's like Paddington. Or if you have a hat, everyone's like Paddington.
Ben, you'll have to forgive me for a minute. We're all out of beer, so I'm gonna have to go over and get some more.
That's fine. We'll have to wrap this up soon anyway. It's been.
It's fine.
Thank you, Tony. We learned a lot about KoRn.
Exactly.
Sorry, before I do go, in case you do wrap it up, what did you think of the Nothing? Did you listen to it?
I haven't yet. The last one I heard is probably I think it may have been the self-titled one that had the weird like bird-faced thing on it.
Oh.
I mean that's probably a decade ago now. I don't recall. I heard a song from it, but I wasn't receptive at the time, and it was on me. I was not in the state to hear that more than.
Okay, fine.
It's tough, obviously, because of the subjects they're dealing with, but it's probably the best record that they've done since The Untouchables. Although that said, I haven't listened to their albums, but to be honest, I don't really have any inclination to do so. But it is a very, very good record.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now we're on the subject, right?
Yeah.
And we promised people that we would talk about this subject.
Yes.
What is your stance? The best KoRn album?
I'm sorry?
He said The Untouchables.
So your favourite KoRn album is The Untouchables, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. And yours is?
Issues.
Right. Difficult.
Oh, it's been a long day.
Yeah. And mine is
Oh, I am going to get some beer, so if you are gone.
whatever. Mine
Maybe
is
like 2 minutes.
Mine is Follow the Leader.
So we found it inconclusive.
We have, and the amount of messages, do you know when we announced this stream?
Everybody wanted to know about that.
Yes. The amount of fucking DMs that I got that were like self-titled.
Oh shit. Oh, it appears I've lost you, Jamila. We'll see. It could be on my end, but I have a feeling it's on hers. It was right as the computer moved there. And oh, we got hello. You there?
Hey.
You're a voice without an image.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, everybody. What I liked was the people commenting saying, "Of course, it's the first rec." Oh, we'll give it a minute or two to see if we are rejoined. But if not, it's been nearly 3 hours, and it is completely acceptable and understandable that you, dear viewers, are very patient people. You've stuck around a long time, so I'll give it about a minute here, and if not, I think that may have been a cosmic sign that it's time for all of us to proceed with our nights in a different fashion. We've learned about the nature of Jamila joining Ithaca, the songwriting process they had, first dates at ICP shows. I've gained so much from this. It looks like we've been rejoined. Hello, you're back for a minute here. That was something. But yeah, I was.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. We all have technological issues, and I was starting to do a wrap up here as I realized it's getting late. So
Okay.
there's Pam. There's Lulu.
Do you want to say hi to the ham and say happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Ham.
Happy birthday, ham. She's like, yeah, thanks.
She's the real fucking star of the show. That is a beautiful face. And I just love that she always looks a little confused and a little expectant. Like she knows that you have something for her.
So she is a spoiled bitch. So she's like, unless she knows that something's happening, she's like, oh, okay.
Now, how old is she in actuality? You've had her for a year.
Yes. So we're celebrating her birthday today. We don't know when her birthday is, but
Right.
last year, when we adopted her, we were told she was 2.
So she's 3-ish.
We're celebrating 3-ish, and today is the anniversary of the day that we adopted her. So we're celebrating both. And we're like, yeah, okay. Happy birthday and happy gotcha day, huh?
Amazing.
Lulu, look.
Happy gotcha day to the ham.
Yeah. Happy gotcha day.
She is so fucking. It kills me. Especially
Love you.
because her eyes do a little bit of that, like a little out looking. So
Look.
good. Oh, she was sampling the nose.
Where is it?
Hi, Lulu.
She's saying hi. She's like, yeah.
Hi, Lulu. She's so. And she's got happy eye.
Lulu.
She looks content.
Lulu, what is that? Lulu, look, what? She's like, okay, yeah, whatever.
She has no interest in the screen. If you had a video of other dogs or a cat, it might be.
She's like, no, I refuse. I absolutely refuse.
Good.
Say hello. Do you want to say hello? Lulu, say hello. You want to say hello? Lulu. Look, Lulu, look.
She's making good noises.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. You see this? You see this? Do you want to say hello? Do you want to say hello?
I like that she's purring like a cat. But let's call it at this point. People have been so patient to sit with us for 3 hours, and I need to get some dinner before I make myself ill. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. It means a lot, and Lewis and Tony as well. I know they're not here, but send my love. Thank you for sharing a lot of insight and wisdom. I will be acting to Freddy versus. I'm sorry?
How is your infusion? Was it okay?
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I get my medicine, my infusions every 4 weeks or so. I had 2 this week because I had 2 different kinds, and it's fine. It's annoying as hell. They draw your blood, so you're a little tired.
Okay.
And I get car sick in cars because I don't. I mean, I'm never out anymore. I didn't used to get so sick. It's like I'm never in a car, so it's a weird new thing. It's fine, you know. But it's good. I'm considering there's a fucking pandemic on. I'm pretty healthy.
Good. I'm glad.
So we're good.
I'm so glad.
But, me too. It was lovely to speak with you. I cannot wait to hear what you guys are working on recording now. And thank you for teaching us about so many things. I'm going to contact the Freddy versus Jason people to see if they'll send you some royalty checks. You need it. I think that's Roadrunner Records that made it. So it can't be.
We're Roadrunner, yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. You know, Jamila needs like a couple bucks.
For fucking giving everyone sharing the love that is the Freddy versus Jason soundtrack, right?
Exactly.
And also, the Ham says that she loves you.
I don't know who. Everybody loves the Ham. What a beautiful girl. But
she's a beautiful girl, and she's like fucking sweating because she's like, "Hey Ben."
She's sweating.
Hey.
Oh, that's good.
Say hello. Say hello. She's like, yeah, hi.
I like that she's.
Hey.
She's not having it, but she's not having it either.
Exactly.
She's just like there. She's just chilling.
She doesn't hate it, but she doesn't hate it. Like she's like, okay, fine. If I must.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the important part of being a dog parent. I've learned is that like you have to make it happen, but also don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And in the
she's
same
not
way, when like Kelsey and Erin came over and we hung out with them, they were like, dude, your dog is a dickhead. And I was like, yes. Finally, you get it. Like, when Kelsey and Erin came over, they were like, we fucking love your dog. And I was like, yeah, cool. And they met her and they were like, your dog's a cunt. And I was like, yes. And they get it. Like,
yeah, no, both of those can coexist.
Well, because she's beautiful, but she's such an asshole.
Well, she's in charge.
Of course she is. Yeah, exactly.
As it should be.
And next week, she's having surgery. So what she says goes this week, basically. What she says goes this week. Isn't that right? Because you're having surgery next week, buddy. So she's like, okay, fine. Say bye to Ben, though. Say bye to Ben.
Bye, Lulu.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Ben.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Sweetheart. It's so fun. I love you so much. Bye.
Bye. Hey, have a good night. That was a blast. Thank you for being here. Looks like somebody just joined us on YouTube. We've got about 3 hours of video backlog that you can watch. Everything from us discussing soundtracks to metalcore to beer to American culture that makes it there to Taco Bell. We covered a lot. At this point, we're not talking about as much in general. We spoke a bit about black metal and beer earlier. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. That was a long one. I guess time zones, like I'm practically in their time zone now. You guys have been great. On Tuesday of this coming week, I'm going to be speaking with James Brown, known as Roach, not James Brown, the James Brown. He's a member of the band Harasser, as well as Moon Knight, Vorpal Sword. He runs Rising Beast Records, so a black metal musician for over 25 years now. Is going to be thrilled to talk with him about, God, I don't even know. He's got so much I can talk about. I'm kind of terrified. So thank you guys for sitting with us. I know this was a long one. I think it was a fun one to make it worth it. So thanks for being here. If you like what I'm doing, the service I use to stream these does cost money. If you want to throw me a buck or two on Patreon, it helps. But there's no obligation. Nothing like this is ever going to be behind a paywall. So, do what works with your life, and I'll do the best to make my life fit it. Thank you guys for being here. Be safe, be good. Have a lovely weekend, and cheers. Take care of each other. Be good to each other.